Hey, thank goodness for benefitscheckup.org.
Benefits what?
benefitscheckup.org. It's a free website where people over 60 can find help to pay for food, medicine, even utilities. I got $1,200 a year in benefits. Maybe it can help you.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Johnny Hill producing as always. We're with you for the next 3 hours and a lot to get to today. College basketball continues to roll right along as we're getting closer and closer to these conference tournaments. Seeding for these conference tournaments starting to be worked out for the Tigers. A lot of action tonight that really relates to them in the conference. SMU tonight, Charlotte tonight, FAU tonight. So a lot of interesting games for the Tigers around the country. Some big games last night and tonight. So a lot to get to today. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well. It really starts to build. Today is the last day. I think for a while we won't have afternoon action from conference tournaments. I know tomorrow Arch Madness begins.
There we go. Love
in
that.
St. Louis, and that's a lot of fun. I went to it in 2010. I went to it on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a lot of fun and a lot of enthusiasm around that tournament. Sunbelt gets back into action with daytime games tomorrow. There are a couple other tournaments starting tonight, mostly on campus tonight. One, OVC's not. Yeah. It's at one place. It's at Evansville, Indiana. But it really starts to build with every day the action all the way through until Selection Sunday, and then we'll take that Monday off. Everybody try to digest and have the big first hot take on the bracket. Right. And then, boom, Dayton on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday regional action, Friday action downtown Memphis at FedEx Forum.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of a sprint from now until then. Like you mentioned, kind of get that one off day to kind of digest everything. But you see around the country, even the games that are not conference tournament games. Last night, a wild night in A-Sun. We had some Sun Belt action. Some good games, Horizon League, but some smaller tournaments going on right now. But even the games that are not conference tournament games, they mean a lot for these teams. I mean, everything determines seeding. We saw Purdue wrap up their conference regular season title last night with a win over Illinois. So, these games mean a lot, and it's just going to continue to mean more in terms of seeding and things like that as we get closer to conference tournament. And then for a lot of those teams, they're playing for their life to try to stay alive and live another day and try to get into the NCAA tournament.
There's so much that I like about sports, and one thing I think that it distinguishes itself from a lot of things is that scoreboard, is the meritocracy of it. The best win, the best advance, the best survive. Okay, in golf, low man wins, but by and large, the team with the most points wins across most sports, certainly team sports. And I mentioned that we talked about that Monday that will be the slower day. And what will that Monday, and when it's 2 Mondays from now, it's not next Monday, but the following Monday, Monday the 18th, what will that day look and feel and sound like in this market, on these airwaves, around town, largely among Tiger fans? We know Tennessee fans are probably going to be happy and love their seed. But I'm talking about that Monday. What will it be like for the Memphis Tigers? Until then, I am willing to suspend everything and just hope for the best. Hope for a win Saturday against FAU. hope for at minimum good run, and really hope for a great run at Dickies Arena in Fort Worth and the automatic. And then that Monday, it will be a day of celebration. I think a day of big relief for a lot of people that the Tigers, if they win the automatic bid, they won their way in. They kicked the door down. It was no angst. It was nothing to it. If it's short of winning the automatic and they're in as an at-large, well, that means they've won Saturday against FAU, and they won on probably Friday and Saturday in Fort Worth and competitive on Sunday, and they got in, and that could include a game the very next day in Dayton, or certainly on Wednesday if it's not with the automatic. If they lose before Friday or Saturday at Dickies Arena, we know what that Monday's going to look like, and I'm willing to just wait till then and we hash it out. But if that is the case, that Monday's going to be that's going to be sharp elbows, tough conversation Monday.
No, absolutely. And I mean, it's very, they're kind of teetering on the edge of which side it will fall on right now. It's just kind of the position the Tigers have put themselves in. And, last year we weren't having to have these conversations. We felt pretty comfortable.
You knew you were there.
You were kind of worried more of, are you going to wear home jerseys or road jerseys? And so you felt comfortable about being in there. But now a different conversation, a different story. And so I hope we're having the let's preview X team that we haven't ever seen before and that we're going to see on Thursday. But, you're right. If we're in here on Monday and the Tigers are on the outside looking in, and we're talking about getting to the tournament last year and controversy, whatever, not being able to make it out of the first game. The year before that, getting to that second game. It's certainly a regression, and there will certainly be tough conversations, I think.
It will be, and we will examine the whys, and we'll examine the future and what it offers. What would it look like a year from now? This year the stated goal, I think, just almost with unanimity. It was just very. I don't think anybody was saying win it all. I don't think a soul was saying win it all. I don't think anybody was saying get to the Final Four. I don't think anybody said Elite Eight or bust. The general unanimity, consensus, overarching conversation was second weekend.
Yeah.
If you don't get in the tournament, that's a long way from second weekend.
I was about to say, what is it now? I mean, just make the tournament?
And what is it now?
Yeah.
I asked that at the Sissy's Log Cabin text line right now, 901-360-8255. You tell us what is the – and look, I'm well aware goals change.
Sure.
And that's fine. Again, optimistic but realistic.
Sure.
Realistic, optimistic.
Sure.
What's the goal today? What's the goal on this Wednesday, March 6th, with the games that have occurred? 30 games have been played by the Memphis Tigers. Only one remains. Do you realize that at max, we know we're only picking 2 more Tiger bankroll games?
Wow. How about that, Johnny?
Man.
And Johnny sitting in the pole position.
Hey,
Johnny
man.
just sitting back counting his cash. Just watching the world burn.
Johnny
Just watching the world burn.
2 more games left.
What a nice feeling, Johnny. Played the long game and just counting your cash.
Man, hey, a comeback for the ages,
Hey, plenty
man.
of time left, Johnny. Don't get ahead of yourself. I mean, hopefully we have more than just 2 games left. Hopefully it's
I think
games left.
there's more than 2 left, and around college basketball, you could almost put together a great tournament of the teams that want to pass on the NIT tournament.
yeah. It's kind of the wave now. It doesn't seem like anybody wants to go to the NIT, and now, I mean, kind of the first time last night was when it hit me in the face of the rule changes to the NIT. We had Eastern Kentucky lose as the number 1 seed in the A-Sun, and in the past, conference champions that regular
They'd have a
champions,
spot.
They'd have a spot. No more. And so
it's over for them.
Eastern Kentucky,
They
come in as the 1 seed and leave first game with not even, season's over. Goodbye.
They can sack up the basketballs, except for there's still 2 other tournaments, isn't it?
Yeah, the CBI. I think it's just 1 after. There used to be 2. I think it's just 1 now, but maybe there is 2 more after that. I don't know, but I know there's the CBI. So maybe they go to the CBI.
I think it's just the CBI.
I think it is because there used to be 2 additional, and I think
Yeah.
they cut the
CIT
and
CBI.
I think the CIT, unfortunately, I don't think he's
With the
us
way of
anymore.
the vid.
I
Did
think so.
COVID get it?
I think so, actually. So
Yeah, well,
poor CIT. One of my favorites, actually. Great tournament.
was that the zany 2 out of 3 finish?
I think so. Yeah.
That is zany, isn't
Well,
it?
it's something.
You look at the net today, and Brian, whether it's whatever poll it is, college football or college basketball, at the net is more where I do it there. Is what neighborhood are you in? Who's right in front of you?
Sure.
Who's right behind you? Well, today, and just about everybody last night from the AAC dropped a peg, except for South Florida.
How about that?
Everybody else kind of moved back, regressed one spot last night, at least one spot. And Memphis did the same. They went from 71 to 72 in the net. Well, kind of here's the neighborhood behind them, or around them. And I'm going to start at Seton Hall at 67 because Seton Hall and Villanova are kind of in that game of if it's not us, it's you for an at-large out of the Big East. So you got Seton Hall at 67, then St. Bonnie at 68, App State at 69, Richmond at 70, Washington 71, the Tigers at 72, Maryland 73, UC Irvine 74, and South Florida 75.
Look out for South Florida creeping right behind you.
Except for here, who else in those teams I just named do you think in any market in the country that they're talking about legitimately getting an at-large bid?
Let's see. Okay, let me look.
St. Bonnie, App State, Richmond, Washington, Memphis, Maryland, UC Irvine, South Florida. Not one.
No, not one. Not one.
It's the neighborhood they're in today.
Yep.
Now that can improve 4 to 5 to 7 to 8 pegs just with winning on the road at FAU Saturday, I think.
Sure.
I don't think it'd be any more than about 7 or 8. Do you?
No, I don't think it would be more than that, but it will be in that neighborhood. And I think it'd be a good
let's
jump.
say it is.
Okay.
Let's say it's 7 and go all the way to 65. Well, today's 65 is UCF.
How about that?
No conversations.
Nah,
Oregon
no.
at 64. Some. San Francisco at 63. A little. 62. Providence. A lot.
A ton, absolutely. So, I mean, you're kind of more in the conversation. I mean, but that's what, and I've brought this up a couple times when looking at Jerry Palm. We go to his bracket most days because he has been updating it daily lately, and you look at his first 4 out, his last 4 in, and for a while there'd be 1 or 2 teams that would just jump out as that team doesn't look like they belong. And I mean, looking at the first 4 out right now, you've got Pittsburgh with a net of 44, Villanova with a net of 25, Iowa with a net of 57, and then Seton Hall out of nowhere with a net of 67. And so it's just very tough when you have a net in the 60s to be in that conversation. I'm sure you can go down. He lists all the teams that are on the bubble and their nets, and I'm just looking at it real quick. 22, 33, 29, 49, 31, 57, 43, 52, 44, 67, 34, 46, 25, 41. I mean, nets that low are usually not in the conversation of being an at-large, and that's just kind of the way it goes.
It is, and there's a lot of bracketology, there's a lot of numbers. We're throwing a lot of math and a lot of numbers at people. I understand that. Sometimes that can get difficult to digest on radio. Our friend Shelby Mass, that joins us every Monday and has since the Super Bowl, will next Monday, and will join us even after the tournament begins to kind of see what went right and what went wrong, kind of do the autopsy on the bracketology after the tournament begins. His last 4 in today, Virginia, Seton Hall, Iowa, St. John's. That's pretty popular.
Yeah.
I say St. John's in. They have Georgetown left, and again, the Rick Pitino factor. I say they're in for the TV show factor.
Yep.
First 4 out, Providence, James Madison, Colorado, Memphis.
Wow, yeah. So I mean, that seems like the group of teams that are in there, and now with what Memphis has been doing, I mean, they're getting more and more popular with these bracketologists of kind of being that team sneaking around the bubble and kind of sneaking up behind some teams. But
got Wake Forest scratched up a little last night.
3 straight losses for them since the win against Duke, so they've been struggling.
Did you see how they lost?
I did.
Did you see the travel before the inbounds play? The guy's rolling on the ground with the ball in his hand, and they called it a jump ball, possession error to Georgia Tech. Inbounds made it look easy up and in.
Made it look very easy.
Yeah, that was horrendous, man. That was bad.
It really was, Johnny.
That was
horrendous
really
missed call. I thought Captain Cue Ball Steve Forbes was going to lose his mind.
Oh, man. I'm surprised he didn't.
Yeah, me too.
Remember when people wanted him here? Gee whiz.
Yeah, it was a time.
That's some of the same bunch that said Musa Cisse was going to be a lottery pick.
That was also a time. Some interesting times here. But for Georgia Tech, I'm glad you brought him up, Brett, because 14-16 now in the year, 1 game left to play against Virginia. But you look at those wins in conference: Clemson, North Carolina, Syracuse, Miami, Florida State, and Wake Forest, and Duke. Those are some really, really good wins in conference.
Well, Brian, it is historically an ACC.
Yeah.
Now, some of those teams, Duke, will still be going for Final Four, but a lot of those teams, they're not even good this year.
Right, but I mean, when you look at that top,
Florida State lost last night for the 15th time.
Yeah, that's not good. But when you look at those marquee wins, Wake, North Carolina, Clemson, and Duke,
I agree.
Those are ones
now
you can build on.
Now look at their L's.
Well, Brett, first season, Damon Stoudemire.
I agree.
We're just building blocks right now. We're just trying to get those building blocks.
And I think for football and basketball, Georgia Tech, and I think they will, they'll get their NIL right enough.
They should. The time is now for Georgia Tech. I mean, you look at all three sports, and the future is very bright for all three: football, basketball, and even baseball. They've got a really good baseball team right now.
Now, what Tech always have to balance is a little of the Vandy Tulane balance of, and I don't mean this literally, but do we want to sell our soul? Because they go to school Monday through Friday.
Yep.
It really matters to them.
Absolutely, and that's a struggle that
Stanford, they go through the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, and all of the schools, Tulane doing a better job in terms of kind of G5, but you look at some of those other schools and they're struggling with NIL, and it's a very weird balance you have to make.
That was the one of the original impetus, contempt that Bobby Dodd had with the SEC back in the 60s, as he thought it was too many people selling their soul for football, and he didn't like the lack of adherence to academics that they had and they were going to maintain at Georgia Tech, and it had gotten pretty ugly with them with a couple of rivals, Alabama most notably, and even with Tennessee, and a little bit with Auburn and others, and that's why they left when they did.
Wow, interesting.
A long time ago.
A long time ago, but we'll see if Georgia Tech can get something going.
It got so bad with Tech in Alabama that there was bottle throwing incidents, whiskey bottle throwing incidents between both.
Holy cow.
Both sides were giving as good as they got it. I don't know who started it.
Right.
I'm sure both sides will say the other one did.
Of course.
And Coach Bryant and Bobby Dodd did not get along well at all. Bobby Dodd was a famous quarterback at Tennessee, and Bear Bryant, his rivalry was third Saturday in October.
Sure.
Iron Bowl mattered, but Tennessee was everything. They didn't do well with each other. They didn't like each other. And Dodd thought he was young whippersnapper. Bryant thought he was, curmudgeonly old man. Time had passed. That whole drill has been going on for 10,000 years. So Bama's playing at Grant Field one year, and Bryant comes onto the field for pregame wearing a helmet. And they, what will you do that for? He goes, well, the bottle throwing incident was so bad, I was protecting myself.
Holy cow.
He came out in a Bama football helmet.
Holy cow.
which you do that now at LSU, that would just make them throw more at you.
It'd just be worse. It'd just be worse. You got to take it off eventually, so we'll keep throwing.
That's it.
That's hilarious. Wow. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30. I'm excited. Steve Macy will join us from the Memphis Showboats season right around the corner, March 30th. We'll have the start of the UFL. It's going to take some getting used to after last year, the USFL, now just the UFL. So we'll talk a lot about what they'll have going on this season with the Showboats, with the UFL starting later this month. 3:45, we'll talk some Grizzlies. They're back in action tonight against the 76ers. 4 o'clock, Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 14. He'll join us, talk some college basketball, talk the SEC as things are getting interesting. Some interesting games last night, some fun games tonight as well. So a lot of SEC talk at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll get into some more bracketology and college basketball. A lot of interesting games. Yesterday, the day before, tonight, it's really getting down to a lot of these teams know what time it is. It's March, and these games all mean something. So we'll talk a lot of college basketball at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Kevin Sweeney will talk some college basketball with us, CBB_Central. Go give him a follow on Twitter. We'll talk a lot of college basketball at 5 o'clock. 5:30, we get to what's trending. 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios, and get out to Family Leisure where family and fun come together. They've got the factory direct pricing going on right now on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Get by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it. Buy now and get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Also save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. They've also got the special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens. So make sure you get out to Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
We're with you until 6 o'clock. We're Sports Time with Bryant and Brett and our producer, Johnny Hill, and we want you to be a part of it by calling 901-360-8255 or the text line at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin phone and text line, and also all our guests would join us on the Sissy's Log Cabin phone, text, and guest line. They are the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and of the Memphis Tigers. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all the 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway, and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day was the wild night in conference tournaments last night. First, got to give a shout out to Detroit Mercy, whose season unfortunately came to an end last night. Only one win all season long for Detroit Mercy. I thought they were going to win last night. A good performance from them.
So Detroit Mercy and the Detroit Pistons have 10 combined?
That is correct, yes. It's been a rough year. You know,
does the PA guy still go, Detroit basketball town?
Sure does. But, Brett, I guess
I like that guy.
Sell your basketball soul for the Detroit Lions to be good now. So, I guess
so.
Give a little, take a little, I guess. But, hate to see Detroit Mercy season come to an end. But in the A-Sun, a wild night last night. Don't look now, but Jacksonville entered the A-Sun tournament 2 games under 500, the dead last seed in conference. They go out last night and beat Eastern Kentucky in their first game. They beat Kennesaw State in the first one, then Eastern Kentucky by 2 last night to get them to 500. There's only 7 made threes in that game, which wild game, but Jacksonville gets the win. Later that night, Austin Peay had to force overtime with a massive second half to win at home after their game. Their coach, who played at Austin Peay, ran up over to the scores table, jumped up on it, got his fans excited, wearing camo pants, Great look, by the way. Called his team palm trees after the game because they sway with the wind. No matter if it's a light wind or a hurricane, they're still going to be there. And it was beautiful. The game of the night, though, North Alabama and Lipscomb at Lipscomb. North Alabama has an opportunity. KJ Johnson, who started his career at Lipscomb, then transferred to North Alabama, had an opportunity to extend the lead to 4, missed the free throw. Lipscomb goes down, ties the game with 4 seconds left with a 3. They give the ball right back to KJ Johnson. He runs down the court, floater for the win. It's good. He wins it on his old home court. It was beautiful, Brett. Finish of the night. And then, Brett, I saved the best for last because you're going to love this one. In the Sun Belt last night, we had Old Dominion and Texas State. Very back and forth game down the stretch. Old Dominion gets the ball. If you're watching the game on ESPN Plus, there's about 6 seconds left. Well, all of a sudden, their starting point guard throws up a half-court shot with like 6 seconds left. Both of the commentators going, what is he doing? He's got plenty of time to get to the basket. I mean, why is he doing that with so much time left? But as the ball is missing the backboard, you see the backboard is lit up red like time has expired. And so they go to he made it. He swished it, and you see red. So you're going, what is that? And so the commentator's going, there's still time left. They're pausing the game now to see how much time should be put on the clock. And then they come back and they're looking at it and they say, shot doesn't count, it was late. So now the commentator's confused because there was 6 seconds left in the game. What happened? They were not in the arena. They were calling the game from a studio, and we had an ESPN Plus clock malfunction. So the clocks were not synced up, and they did not know how much time was left on the clock. We went to overtime. Texas State won.
Did we properly go to overtime?
We properly went to overtime. Yeah, it missed. It was too late.
Oh, the poor announcers.
It was out of his hands late. But they were sitting there going, why did he shoot the ball with 6 seconds left? That doesn't make any sense.
That's why you got to have the announcers there.
Got to have them there, especially for a conference tournament. I couldn't believe it.
That's great stuff.
Thank you. I was all into the A-Sun last night. I mean, it was an A-Sun night. Forget Alabama and Florida.
My top story, 4 in, 4 out, road win, strength of schedule, net. All mumbo jumbo. This time of year, here's the big thing. Win games.
Yep.
Ole Miss couldn't last night. Ole Miss couldn't in February. They're going to be left out. Wake couldn't. But now the thing about win games, the opportunities are limited. You're down to 1 or 2. I talked about we're guaranteed 2 more Tiger games all year. That's it. Yep. Saturday and first round of AAC. Probably be more than that, but that's all we're guaranteed. Yep. And the net is going to mostly freeze this weekend. It's going to be very little movement in that, so I don't know if you can make that meteoric jump. I don't know if you can do it. The Tigers, I think, need FAU to win tonight. You don't want them scratched up tonight. Where on Saturday, 11 o'clock CPS, it needs to be high stakes.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day is what do you do with this Alabama team? Last night, a 105-87 loss to Florida. I mean, you look back at some of the results just this month. 105 points to Florida, 117 to Kentucky, 92 in a win against LSU, 99 in a loss against Auburn. When you look at their KenPom, number 1 in offensive adjusted efficiency, number 106 in adjusted defensive efficiency. When you look at this team, obviously they can score with just
7 in the
anybody.
net.
7
net
in the net.
loves them.
Oh, net loves them. KenPom, they're number 1. I mean, they are the metric darling, but when you watch them on the court, I don't think they could guard me.
It ain't
if
real.
I was out there. It is not real. It just seems like this is a team that is destined for an early exit in March Madness.
My not top story, congrats to SEIU Local 560 on being 1-0. That's the team formerly known as the Dartmouth Big Green. But now they are SEIU Local 560. True or false, Dartmouth has ever been to a Final Four, Bryant?
Brett, very true.
Very true. Not once but twice. 42 and 44. In 42, they lost to Stanford in the finals. That was in Kansas City. 44, they lost to Utah in the finals. That was at Madison Square Garden. I don't know where this goes with this case. I don't know if it's performative. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's virtue signaling or is it going to be something substantive around it. Here's one thing a lot of places could do. I don't know if Dartmouth's going to do it, Oh, y'all want union status. Y'all want to tell us how much we're going to spend on road games? We're telling y'all we're eliminating the sport.
I would hate to see that, but you're right. They could very well do that. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and grab our first break of the afternoon. When we come back, we're talking Memphis Showboats with Steve Macy.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better. I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
East Memphis Ace Hardware is more than just a hardware store. It's really a customer service store. With 20 employees along with complete inventory of items, big to little, finding what you need is easy. Choosing from a complete selection of Big Green Egg as well as Traeger and Weber grills. And the Garden Center has everything for your yard. You can get glass cut, repair screens, even new keys with key fob programming. Tools, nuts, bolts, screws, you need it. East Memphis Ace Hardware has it. And they're just down the street at the corner of Quince and White Station.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo Lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and joining us now, Steve Macy, the Senior Director for Team Business and Event Operations for the Memphis Showboats. He joins us now on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Steve, thanks so much for joining us. We're getting ready to start another year of Memphis Showboats football. Last year, it was the USFL. This year, just the UFL. What has that process been like for you and the Showboats, kind of getting with the XFL and merging into one spring league rather than having the USFL and the XFL?
Bryant, I wish it was as simple as just dropping the S. I wish it was that easy.
That's a good line, Steve.
But it has been a little bit of a process for sure. And I think probably the biggest challenge is merging two different mindsets and cultures between the two organizations, and whenever you do that, it's always tough. It's like marrying somebody you don't know real well, and you got to move into the same house and figure out who's cooking, who's cleaning, and figure out all those different pieces. But it's been fun. It's been a great process, and it was the right thing. I mean, overall, this was by far the best thing that could have happened for spring football. Two leagues just couldn't coexist in this space. And so bringing those two teams together, two leagues together, you go from 16 teams to 8 teams, and the level of talent has just exploded throughout the league. And that's probably been the best thing that's happened, is just how good the talent really is going to be in this league going forward in this year.
Steve, you mentioned there's just so many people on planet Earth that can play left tackle and right tackle and right guard, left guard, and quarterback. And I thought that's what the USFL last year really lacked, was great quarterback play, because when you don't have great offensive line play, I don't care if you have John Elway back there, you're not going to have good quarterback play.
And I think that's just part of it. There are so many guys that have gotten a chance to make an NFL roster, and I think that's the importance of spring football, because there have not been enough opportunities at that professional level and the NFL level. There's too many guys that can play and haven't had a chance. Either they have a bad training camp one year, or they don't look good on film to somebody, or the wrong guy. And this league gives those guys, players and coaches alike, an opportunity to get some film, get an opportunity to show what they can do, and it's led to a lot of guys getting an opportunity at that next level. And I think that's what's so great about this. And the level of play is good. I quibble a little bit about whether the quarterback play was great. I think it was okay at times. There were certainly some guys that were very, very good at it. And, the Showboats this year now, we have in our quarterback room 3 guys that started in the USFL last year. So all 3 of our quarterbacks were starting quarterbacks last year. And Kate Cookus with Philly, Cole Kelly, which was here in Memphis, and then Troy Williams at Pittsburgh. So that's probably your point, actually, Brett, is that, hey, look, you just got 3 guys that are starting that are now competing to be the head, the head guy here in Memphis.
Yeah, that's it. It had to improve, and it's improving because of competition. You mentioned whether you're going to cook or clean. Well, look, we know the UFL has somebody that's very involved in something they got cooking with The Rock involved.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his marketing acumen and Danny Garcia and her marketing acumen. It's a great teammates to bring into this league and join in with all the brilliance at Fox that they brought to the USFL the last 2 years and bring it forward to this year. We really have a great management team that's leading this going forward and building it for the long term. And I think that's the key, is this is long term. And look, Memphis has been burned a bunch with spring football leagues. It's just a fact. And we're coming back and saying, hey, this is the first time we've had a second year of professional football in Memphis since the 1980s. And it's because it's here to stay. It's the investment that's being made in Memphis. And, we've got a responsibility to the community. And part of it's going to be, look, how well do we do from an attendance standpoint in the league's strength? And we want to be the very best. We pride ourselves as Memphians that we have the best of all the things. And so this is another opportunity for us to prove that Memphis can compete with big cities like St. Louis and Houston and Washington, D.C. and San Antonio and the Dallas Metroplex. This is our opportunity to show, hey, we can fill a stadium just like they can.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that kind of fan experience and trying to get fans there. I remember last year with the Showboats first year, a lot of my buddies, I'm going to go to the Showboats game, give it a try, and they all came back saying, oh, that was so much fun. We got to go to more Showboats games. And I think it was a mix of the product on the field and also just kind of the in-stadium kind of experience. What can Showboat fans expect this year after last year? Do you plan on kind of doing the same thing as last year that worked really well? Do you expect to do things more now that you're a little more comfortable in year two?
I think that we're going to do a lot of what we did last year. I felt really good about the fan experience. From, we didn't have dead time. I mean, that's one of the things that I hate beyond all things is when it's quiet and that there's not music going on or we're not entertaining with the video board. And so we're going to do a lot of that. We're going to make sure that it's really fun. And I think one of the really neat things about the USFL and now the UFL going forward is that we're really committed to making a football game about 3 hours. It's a TV window that works, and there's the NFL games are now stretched in 3.5 to 3:45, and college football, as we all know, can last up into the 4-hour range. We really want to have a nice, fun, compact 3 hours so families can plan around a game, knowing that, hey, if we've got a 2 o'clock kickoff, I know that 5 o'clock I'm pretty much getting ready to roll back to the car. And you can plan your day around joining us for a Showboats game, come out and tailgate, and know that 3-hour entertainment window is going to be pretty consistent on a game-by-game basis.
Steve, the Showboats open in Houston at Rice Stadium against the Roughnecks on Saturday, March 31st. Home opener at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium will be Saturday, April 6th, 11 o'clock in the morning kick. I love that. Against the San Antonio Brahmas. That's one of the teams brought in from the other league last year. What can fans expect to see at the physical plant, at the brick and mortar of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium? How's setup going to be this year as opposed to last year? What is max capacity if you have a number you can give out? What will we see at Central and at the stadium? Central and Southern, I'm sorry.
That's right. So we are going to move to that east side of the stadium. We had to make an early decision based on the hope that the stadium construction project would be underway already. And we also came back and we talked to the university and said, look, we don't want to be in the way. We want to be a great partner. We love being a tenant here at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. And if there was even a chance that we would be in the way of pushing back the stadium project even by a day, we said we don't want to do that. So we made the decision we're going to put everybody on the east side this year and expecting that to last throughout the work that's being done on the west side of the stadium. And so we're going to have everybody seated there. From a max capacity, Brett, we will expand as much as we need to handle as many fans as we can possibly get in there. But right now we've got a manifest for about 25,000. And
that's great, Steve.
I'd love for us to do that a couple times this season and just say, look, let's create the greatest home field advantage in the entire league. And our new head coach, DiFilippo has asked for that as well. That, when he had to play against us last year when he was the head coach at New Orleans, he felt like they were at a disadvantage with our crowd. And so we want to continue to have that type of reputation throughout the league. And it's a challenge to our fans. They make it great. Make this so much fun and so loud and disruptive that we do have a great home field advantage.
Last thing for you. You mentioned DiFilippo coming in and had a really good team in New Orleans last year and is bringing in a lot of offensive weapons. You mentioned Case Cookis, who was one of the best in the league last year. And, you look at all the numbers, he's, second in most categories from last year. What do you expect this offense to look like? They're bringing back the defensive coordinator from last year, right? So expect kind of the same on defense, but what do you expect with this offense this year?
Yeah, I think one of the great things for all of us is that Carnell Lake is coming back as a defensive coordinator.
Yes.
I was so impressed with him last year, not just his acumen and his pedigree as a great Pittsburgh Steelers player, but the way he handled himself around the players, the way he handled himself around administrators. He was awesome. So I want to really start with that. Then offensively, I'm excited. The offensive coordinator is a guy named Doug Martin, somebody that I know well. Doug was the head coach at New Mexico State when I was there. And with the offense that they've got this year, we talked about the quarterbacks, but then you bring in the 2022 Offensive Player of the Year, Darius Victor at running back. And, Cookis was phenomenal, and he was the MVP of the championship game 2 years ago. So it is going to be a great offense, and that's going to be really, really fun for our fan base. And then I think our defense is going to stop people. I think that last year when we were just even a little bit healthy, teams really had a hard time moving the ball, and I expect more of that. It's going to be a great season, and I encourage everybody to go to theufl.com, and jump on season tickets. They start at $100. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have a lot of fun things in the stands all season long, and I'm just so proud that we're back again, and that professional football is here to stay in Memphis.
Steve, I know this is a little bit of a stretch, but I like the Carnell Lake angle with the Showboats. He played college at UCLA way back in the day, the original Showboats. The head coach was Pepper Rogers, who once was head coach at UCLA. So we got a little synchronicity going there with Carnell Lake and the late, great Pepper Rogers. How much did you enjoy New Mexico State going down and winning at the Plains against Auburn?
Well, that was a lot of fun to watch that game, and the way they did it was kind of amazing. It was complete domination of that game. It shocked me, to be honest. It's one of those times you kind of kick yourself and you say, I could have gone and seen some people and watched that game. But I admit, at my time there, we actually played at Auburn twice and got blown out both times. So I wasn't in the mood to see that a third time. It was really a neat surprise for that team to pull that one off.
That's awesome. That's great.
I know you enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, Steve, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so excited for Showboat football, and let's do this again soon.
A bunch.
Hey, guys, thanks so much. Appreciate it, and go Boat.
Thanks,
you got
Steve.
it. Thank you, Steve.
Steve Macy joining us to talk the Showboats. I'm not lying. I am fired up now about the season. I mean, that's all I needed. I just needed.
Brian, I am too. I need a little football fix. Going to get the Showboats here soon, and spring football and a little more Showboats.
Yeah.
5 home games. I don't know if I can go 5 for 5, but I'm gonna go a bunch, and I hope it's playoffs this year.
Yeah, oh yeah, I hope so, and I know that's on their mind after kind of that strong push they had at the end of last season. Let's take that next step and get to the playoffs. So let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, the Grizzlies, they're back in action tonight in Philadelphia. We'll talk about that next.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve. The obsession with every detail. And the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Excellent, phenomenal, and awesome are just a few of the words that people have said online to describe their experience at 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination. And they're all true. Everyone, and I mean everyone, who works at 117 Prime strives for one thing: excellence. No one at Prime settles for not putting in the maximum effort in making your dining experience something you won't just cherish, but one you'll tell your friends about. There are a lot of things maybe you should keep to yourself, but telling a friend about 117 Prime is the one thing you can feel really confident about.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, it's another road game for the Grizzlies tonight. They got the win against the Nets, but now 76ers tonight on
Do we want to win?
Yeah, Brett, that's the $1 million question.
Man, I say we should just lose, man.
I do too, Johnny.
It's time to let it in, Brett.
I'll be honest, I was very
Make
disappointed.
it in, Johnny. Make it in.
You
Put
know
us
what?
out our misery.
I'm putting my foot down. I'm putting my foot down right now. I was disappointed in both of y'all. After that Nets win,
I'm sorry,
here,
Brian. I hate to disappoint
and both of
you.
y'all are going,
Hey.
I just wish we would have just lost the game. I'm sitting
I'm
here
sorry.
going, we finally
John, look what we've
won.
done. Now we got Brian
Now we got
disappointed.
Brian disappointed. You got your
man.
tissue, Brett?
Johnny,
he left him in here for me. I've got him now. I mean,
you know, everywhere I go, I leave tissue handy.
I love it.
he leaves it. He left
Brian,
it for me.
Brian,
After all
this
those
how-
times of
And is
trying to
anything worse than when somebody's disappointed at you? I'd rather you just be stark, raving, madder than hell at me than disappointed in me.
Ooh, that word, that hurts, man.
It feels like I could have done more when you're disappointed.
Yeah.
in me.
Well, I mean, you could have, I guess. But
I guess so.
I guess so. No, before the Grizzlies tonight, I think
Weird
everyone's
times for the
there.
Grizzlies.
It's very
For all of
weird,
us.
I think. But the weirdest part about it is you look at, I mean, just like we were doing earlier, looking at the teams around the Tigers. You look at the teams around the Grizzlies, and it's all of these teams that are in full rebuild mode or full, just not good at all, full tank mode. That's not the position the Grizzlies are in, because you've got a feeling if you can get everybody healthy, you're right back into the mix of things. And I think that's what adds like a different level of weirdness to this season, because it's not, okay, this season was going to be bad from the start. Let's just tank, try to get a good pick, and try that climb up and see if in 2 or 3 years we can get in the mix. The Grizzlies are in the mix.
We are. I don't say this because I'm friends with most of the people I'm getting ready to reference. At minimum, friendly, and sure want to be with them. But we are blessed with an overwhelming abundance of great writers in this area covering the respective teams. We are.
Oh, absolutely.
They could do a collaboration, the big long-form July piece of the, we really don't have the Sunday paper as we used to know it. I guess CA more than the Daily Memphis, but really we don't either one, because you can hammer out 1,500 words right now.
Sure.
Those guys can. But we could have that collaborative piece of whenever the Tiger season ends, and we know the Grizzlies season is ending Sunday afternoon, April 14th.
Yeah.
Of this hurricane of a year.
Oh, man. What a year.
For
honestly.
both.
It has been.
Just the day-to-day step and the pitfalls and the ups and the downs and, wanting to get ranked and then getting ranked and then falling out and the injuries for the Grizzlies, one after another, and the good stories and the bad stories. The idea of coming down to the end of the year of depending on Joe Cooper and Vince Williams.
Yeah, I would have made somebody lock me up if I had said that at the beginning of the season. I mean, that's just crazy.
Unimaginable.
I mean, it's crazy talk. I think it's still crazy talk.
And two solid, good men, good coaches.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
there are a lot worse figures out there in sports than Penny Hardaway and Taylor Jenkins.
Well, Brett, I mean, I think you just take the Tigers, the roller coaster that this season has been for the Tigers, and then you add on the Grizzlies. I mean, I couldn't even imagine dealing with that.
And it's driven by the passion that we know and we feel and we tap into and understand every day.
Yeah, no, you're right. And so, I mean, you're absolutely right. These two teams get such great coverage. I think that's what helps this kind of, first off, fueling the passion, but also just kind of how crazy everything is because we have good insight, because we have great reporters that are on top of the stories and getting that information out. But no, I would not wish this on my worst enemy, if I'm being honest.
No, it has been something, and like I've said, we know when the Grizzlies end. We don't know when the Tigers end or how.
That's the big one. How it ends.
We know it's already fairly inglorious for the Grizzlies.
You can circle that final date and say that's it for the Tigers.
That's what it is.
Who knows? I mean, it's really up in the air. Tonight, 6:30 tip for the Grizzlies and the 76ers. Right now, Philly, a 5.5-point favor. That total, you can just track all the Grizzly totals. They're always going to be like the lowest of the day right now, 211.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think earlier this week against Brooklyn, it was like 206. So super low totals for Grizzly games.
That's old school NBA totals there.
No, it absolutely, and it's funny because you'll see like 245, 230, 223, 206, and then 250. Yeah. I mean, it's really insane looking at it.
It doesn't like a warning label needs to go with betting NBA over and unders anyway, though.
Well, Brett, John said earlier today, I'm not touching the Grizzlies game tonight. I said, John, I think you need a number if you're betting the Grizzlies this year.
You know he's already got cash on it. He's saying he's not touching it.
Always. That's John Harden for you, though. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking SEC basketball with Blake Lovell.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time, free gun rentals with purchase of ammo, and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
When a cold comes on strong, try DayQuil's Severe Honey flavor. The daytime, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, so a cold won't slow you down. Get back to your day feeling relieved, enjoying the delicious flavor of DayQuil Severe Honey. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor soothes your symptoms with a delicious taste. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56, real sports talk.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir, it's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. People are staring at some flashing lights over here as they come out of the Midtown area on 240 South right at Norris. Again, it's made it a little bit slow at times between South Parkway and Norris. They're on 240 going southbound, again, building out of Midtown. It's on the increase out here, 240 onto 385. Billmore's Parkway still looks good as you head out towards Collierville. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we start our second hour. And joining us now, talk some SEC basketball. Blake Lovell joins us from the Southeastern 14. He joins us on the Sissies Log Cabin phone line. Blake, thanks so much for joining us. And we're getting down the stretch in SEC play as we start to try to figure out how these teams are going to be seeded for the conference tournament. And some fun games last night, some interesting games tonight as well. But I want to start off with the game last night between Florida and Alabama. Alabama, again, gives up more than 100 points. We saw them do that a couple games ago against Kentucky when they gave up 117. What do you think about this team going into both the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament? Because when you look at their metrics, their net is way up there, top 10 net, top 10 in KenPom, number 1 offense on KenPom. But when you look defensively, not even top 100 in adjusted defensive efficiency. Very clear that they've got a great offense, but really struggle on the defensive end. What do you see this team doing over the next 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think Alabama probably has a pretty wide range of possibilities. Look, it's like you said, it's because you have a team that is one of the best in the country offensively, and probably one of the teams that's just lagging behind defensively. And if you look at the teams in the Nate Oates era that has had the most success, it's been the teams that have actually played better defense than they have offense. And so, people are kind of comparing this team to the one a couple years ago where they had a great offense. But they just weren't very good defensively. Now, the difference is they're much better offensively this year than they were a couple of years ago. And so that's the thing, is you're going to get the Alabama team that's going to score 100, or you're going to get the Alabama team that's going to give up 100. And That's just, again, that can be a wide range. And the thing is, I put Alabama in the same group as Kentucky in that we can try to count them out. We can try to pick apart their defensive problems and other things. But the fact is, if you're looking for a team that can put together, the offense needed to win 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row, to, get to a Final Four, that kind of stuff, you still have to put these teams like Alabama in there just because in the right matchups, they're just going to go outscore people, and we've just seen them do it time and time again this year. But in the wrong matchups, you're going to get what you get, at Florida, game against Tennessee, teams like that. So,
Blake, let's do what talk radio does the best. Let's be really negative here. Here are the teams in the SEC I do not trust. I like Rick Barnes. I respect him as a coach. I don't trust him in March with the losses he's had. Lamont Paris, I think, a little too soon to really trust. I trust Bruce Pearl. I don't know that I trust Auburn outside of playing games in Auburn. Don't trust Nate Oates in that defense. And if they make them, fine. If they don't make them, they get blasted. Don't trust John Calipari. Todd Golden, a little bit like at South Carolina. It'll be his first tournament at Florida. Mississippi State, when I get down to them, I think they're the first one that I trust to go to the 16, but not a deep run. Who do you trust for a deep run?
Yeah, it's hard to view this and not have kind of a similar answer that you just had, because I think that's the thing. We talk about how much upside and as strong as the SEC's been, but there are still things you can pick apart with all these teams. And, I think I trust Tennessee more than I usually do, and it's because, they've got a guy named Dalton Connect, and I think that is where I will trust them more than I have in recent years. Do I fully trust them? No, but I think I trust them a lot more than I would have, if they just had a guy that was maybe very similar to the other guys they have. But clearly Dalton Connect is not. And so I may still trust Tennessee more than anybody else. Well, I'll give you my answer after tonight. If they go, get beat at South Carolina and we go on to Saturday not knowing who the SEC champion is going to be. I think Auburn may be the easiest team to trust because they seem to be the most balanced from top to bottom. I still don't trust them if somebody makes them shoot a lot of threes, which I think teams will, in a tournament setting will try to do. But the thing is, if you're talking about a team winning tournament games, they've got the most depth. They play maybe the best defense overall, although Tennessee's right there with them. So I think Auburn is pretty close to probably that trust factor. It's just, what do we always say? It feels like guard play wins. Their guards can be a little bit up and down. That's the one thing. And then, you could lump in Alabama, Kentucky, Florida, all the same to me, in that they could go out and beat anybody in the country on any given night, but I still want to see more from all three of those teams defensively, and there's no way I could say that I trust them with confidence. So probably just going to go with the two teams that are the most balanced and have been all season, and that's Tennessee and Auburn. So
Blake Bryant can attest to this. We had Vince Farrar on with us, and it was very fresh into the new calendar year. It was first or second day of the new year. We were talking Tennessee basketball. And, look, the face of Tennessee football is Peyton Manning, but they got a lot of greats, Reggie White, Johnny Majors, you can just name them in the time. They've never really had that distinguishable face of the basketball program. There's been a couple, Ernie and Bernie and Chris Lofton and Allen Houston and some others, even Grant Williams in the last few years. But if Dalton Connect, I know it's coach driven, but if Dalton Connect is the instrumental part of leading them to their first Final Four, that could be your face of Tennessee basketball of all time.
Yeah, he's going to be there because, again, it's just not – we haven't seen guys do this very often in this era, in this league. Have guys who are just coming out scoring 30-plus points as many times as he's had this year. I don't know whatever the number is now, 6, 7, 8, something like that. And doing it in SEC play, that's been the most impressive thing. And, yeah, it is. Like, if we go back several years and we're having this conversation and we're like, all right, all this stuff we're talking about with Tennessee right now, what would fix the problem? The answer would be very simple. We'd say they need somebody like Dalton Connect. If we could see into the future, like this is exactly what they need. And, that's where it's working out for them now. I think it's still kind of a question of, all right, what happens if someone just has the perfect game plan for him and, he scores 5 points? Well, they can have enough around him? Maybe not, but the probability tells you that's probably not going to happen. There are not going to be many teams that are going to be able to hold him down because we just look at the numbers, and that hasn't happened yet. So, yeah he's going to be right there. If they get to a Final Four, he's going to be the reason why. And like you said, he will certainly be the face of the program, at least in the short term. Because
you know it. You've lived it. Who would be your just the word association? Tennessee basketball. Who's the player you think of?
Oh, I mean,
it's tough.
Allen Houston. Allen Houston's probably right up there, but I think, look, honestly, the first name that may have just come into my mind, and like you said, you go back to the days with Ernie and Bernie, but like Chris Lofton, I think just sort of exemplified everything you would want, kind of in a face of the program type guy. He almost got him there, and so maybe you'd put Chris Lofton, but you mentioned too at the end, like, I mean, I don't know how you couldn't put Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield, those two guys on there too, because they just didn't make that push. They didn't get beyond the Sweet 16, and so they maybe lag a little behind when you look at it that way. So.
Blake, what have you made of this season for Dennis Gates at Missouri? What are the fans saying about this program? I mean, last year, 7 conference losses, I think 8 losses in the regular season, and then when you go from February to the end of the regular season, only 3 losses last year, and now, unless they can pull an upset on Saturday on the road against LSU, they're going to finish conference play without a win in conference. Do you just write this off as a bad season, or with how fresh Dennis Gates is to that program, do you kind of raise your eyebrow and say there's a little more to this?
Yeah, everybody knows I was as high on Dennis Gates as anybody coming into last year, and I feel like I had to talk Missouri fans off the ledge when he got hired because they thought he was a terrible coach. And of course, this year, they enjoy coming back at me on that. But I think what you look at is where things are at in the SEC right now and the margin for error that you have. 2 players, John Tonje, Caleb Grill, were going to be his 2 top transfers in this transfer class. And, Tonje barely played this season. Grill hasn't played in, 2 months or more now. I don't even know what the number's at this point. Sean East has missed some games, easily their best player. They started, I think, 11 or 12 different starting lineups this year. Sometimes it comes down to luck, and I know Missouri fans don't want to hear that. Last year, they were one of the luckiest teams in the country. This year, they're probably one of the bottom 3 in terms of unluckiest teams in the country. And sometimes it just works out that way. And the problem is, like we said, it's in other years, you go back 10 years ago, this Missouri team would have won probably 5 games in the SEC. But the problem is you're doing it in a year where the league is as strong as it's been, and that margin for error is just not there. Ken Pomeroy had a great article, I thought, on that. If you want to dive into the advanced analytics and all that, I've been saying all year, and people I know think I'm just ridiculous when I say it, but I'm like, I know it's going to sound wild, but this team is not, it's not as bad as you think. Like, the record doesn't probably tell you where this team actually is. Like, they've been close. They played like 7 or 8 single-digit SEC games. They've had leads in those games, like in the deep into the second half. And it's just, again, it's that margin for error. And sure, they could have definitely, bulked the roster up a little bit. Guys haven't panned out. And when you combine that with injuries to what were probably going to be 2 of your top 4 players this season, who barely played this season at all, this is what happens. And, I think they kind of go back to the drawing board. They got a top 5 recruiting class next year. Obviously, there's a change AD-wise, and I always say, if you go over in the league, anything's on the table. But I just can't imagine that they would change after this year, even in what is going to be a historically bad season. I just think sometimes it's beyond what it looks like, and you got to dive a little bit deeper to see what the issue is. So
I'm with you on that, Oprah. I think if your boss called you in and said, defend yourself, how do you with a 0?
Yeah, it's just not easy. And, I said the same thing about Bryce Drew at Vanderbilt.
You sure did.
I said, look, anything's on the table. When you go over, I would hate to see it because I do think that, again, if you look at what they accomplished last year, they won a tournament game for the first time in however long, 25 wins. But, it comes down to players and not having players on the floor you think you're going to have, having other players who are not meeting expectations. That's what they expect to change next year with a top 5 recruiting class. But matter do you get there? So
better cash it in.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Going back to that Alabama and Florida game from last night, Florida's kind of been the hot team for people lately in terms of a team that could go on a run in the NCAA tournament. I'm looking at Jerry Palm's bracket right now. He has them as a 7 seed right now, starting off against Nebraska. How tough of an out will Florida be in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, Florida's probably the team I can't imagine anyone would want to see right now, and that's every team in the SEC. I can't imagine anyone would want to play Florida. They've been as good as anybody, I think, over the past, more than a month now. And, if you did your power rankings just based on how teams have played since, mid-January, I mean, Florida's probably right there in the top 2 or 3 in the SEC. Like, they're right there with Tennessee and Auburn, probably, because they've been pretty consistent. And I think that's the thing is, you look at the games they've lost. They lose at South Carolina by 6. They lost in overtime at Alabama in a game, quite frankly, they should have won. That's why I felt so strongly that they were going to beat Alabama last night, because I just think they're a better team right now than Alabama is, and they match up really well. They lost that game at A&M by a point, but again, that's a month ago now. And so I think this Florida team is one that they have all the pieces, and they did something last night that I wasn't sure they'd be able to do, and that's hit free throws. I mean, that's kind of been one of their weaknesses this year, that they just miss free throws. They're like 250th in the country or something in free throw percentage, but last night, they do the unthinkable and make 40 of 46. Just your typical, 71 free throw SEC game with 53 fouls. But, I mean, that's just kind of, I think they have all the pieces. We went into the season saying they had one of the best guard groups in the SEC. Their big guys have developed probably as good as any front court I've seen in the country this year. And, Todd Golden has got this team rolling, and they have gotten better defensively, and that's the separator. When we talk about those 3 teams we've lumped in all year, Alabama, Kentucky, Florida, I think Florida's made the biggest strides defensively, and that may pay off here over the next couple weeks.
Blake, this is a tough spot. I'm going to put you in. What's the easier case? To make a case for an 8th SEC team as an at-large, or Memphis as an at-large?
Oh boy. I mean, it's not, like you said, Brett, it's not an easy case.
Neither easy, no.
Neither's easy, but I'll be completely honest with you. I would probably make the case stronger for Memphis than I would the 2 SEC teams. And that's just because I
think I would too. They beat A&M, and the metrics are now shaking out better than Ole Miss, even though I know what the result was head-to-head against Ole Miss.
Here's the issue I have with both A&M and Ole Miss. A&M, as we said, I just don't think A&M is very good at this point. Like, I think
13 losses tells me that, Blake.
I was going to say, they have 13 losses. I know they're good wins. They're keeping them around, but the fact is they've lost 13 games. They've gotten blown out against good teams. I know they have some good wins there. They beat Kentucky early in SEC play. They obviously beat Tennessee. They beat Florida. I don't know, though. Like, I know they beat Iowa State. I know they beat Ohio State, but those games were so long ago that the team I'm seeing now is a team that lost at Vanderbilt, lost at home to Arkansas, those kind of games. And so I'm not buying it on them.
What is it in College Station about football and basketball teams finishing a year?
Yeah, I don't know. Because, that 5-game losing streak, you want to talk about extremes, like I mentioned, it's like you lose at Vanderbilt by a point, then you go lose at 25 by Alabama, you lose at Tennessee by 35. That to me is not an NCAA tournament team right now. They are solely basing it on what they did basically before SEC play. And I know they've got a couple good wins in there, but I don't know. Like, the metrics are certainly helping Texas A&M, but I just do not see them as a tournament team right now. Ole Miss, here's the problem I have with Ole Miss. Yes, they did a lot of good work up front, but it's not really panned out. The only team they've beaten since January the 30th is the team we just talked about that is sitting there at 0-17, about to go 0-18. They've beaten Missouri twice. Those are the only 2 wins they have since January 30th. And so, again, to me, that doesn't scream tournament team. No matter how well they played before that, their strength of schedule in the non-conference was not the best. Yes, they have a win over Memphis, but some of the other wins just have not panned out the way they needed them to. Their second game of SEC play, they beat Florida. Florida's a completely different team now. And if you go beyond that, all they have is a win over Mississippi State at home. That's the best win they've got left. And so I like this team. They've exceeded expectations. If you put them in a tournament setting, could they win a couple games? Sure, they could win a couple games in Nashville next week. But that's the only path. at this point, I think, to get them in. So.
Looking at tonight's slate, Blake, I know a lot of people are talking about the Tennessee and South Carolina game, which I want to get to in a second. But one game that I really want to watch, and call me a sicko or whatever, LSU and Arkansas at 6 o'clock tonight. I've really enjoyed watching this LSU team. Matt McMahon, what he has done over these last two teams, it looks like this LSU program is getting better. It looks like they're going in the right direction. And when you look at their last, 4 of their last 5 have been wins. They've got wins over Kentucky, South Carolina, lost a close one against Florida a couple of weeks ago. What do you see with Matt McMahon in this program and kind of going into the future next year, 2 years from now? Do you think they can be in the mix in a couple of years towards the top of this conference?
Yeah, I think they've got to use the same formula they used this year in terms of building their roster, and that was going out and getting older guys. And specifically, I think finding an older guy that's played as much as Jordan Wright's played in the SEC.
Yeah.
At Vanderbilt, playing as many games he played in, as many big games like last year when they're making their run. To pick up a guy like that, like, it's been invaluable for this team, and I think that's kind of the formula now, knowing that you can go recruit guys within your own conference, that are seniors. Like, I think I would do that every single year if I'm someone as an SEC head coach. I'd go find one guy that's played a lot of minutes in my conference and is either, an upperclassman, whatever, graduate, doesn't matter. Find someone with experience in the conference. And Jordan Wright has done so many good things for them, but then it's go find another guy like Will Baker out there, who a lot of high upside, 7-foot guy. And so I think it's just roster building, really, when it comes down to it. Like, he's built a better roster. And, hey, it also helps having a nice schedule. their last 4 games here, to finish the season: Georgia, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Missouri, the bottom 4 teams in the SEC. That's what a luck of a draw. If those are the 4 teams you get to finish the season. They're 2-0 in the first 2. Now, like you said, they got to go play Arkansas tonight, which will not be easy. Arkansas is the most inconsistent team in the SEC. I don't know how you game to game know what you're getting, although they played a little bit better. But they also lost at home to Vanderbilt, and I know they just scored 102 at Kentucky. Which team are you getting? We don't know. So this game can go either way. And then again, the LSU, they're going to beat Missouri on Saturday. So, yeah, LSU getting to 10 wins in SEC play. If Lamont Paris and South Carolina aren't doing what they're doing this year, Matt McMahon would be an easy candidate for SEC Coach of the Year after they won 2 games last year. But, yeah, that'd be huge if they finish with 10 wins, because then they're probably looking at the number 7 seed in the tournament. So.
Blake, next week we know where you'll be. You'll be in downtown Nashville for all the SEC games. But if you could just go anywhere you wanted to this weekend or next weekend to any tournament out there, you're going to be at a great one. But if you could go to anything out there in college basketball the rest of this week and next week, where would you go?
Easiest choice I've made in years, Brett. Mountain West tournament. Not even close.
Oh, that's
a good choice.
To me, that conference this year, watching those teams play, I could watch them play all day, every day. I think that those teams out there, and this has been building for a while. Like, we've always talked about the Mountain West and good coaches. That's always something when you build a roster within your league of good coaches, it's always going to play out. Like, eventually you're going to get guys that turn the program around, do a lot of good things. We're looking at a conference here this year where, Colorado State is, where are they at? 7th in the league or something like that? It's like, really? That's the 6th or 7th best team in that league. They're still pretty darn good. And, you're looking at all the other teams that have made strides, whether it's Utah State, what Steve Alford's done at Nevada, UNLV. Look at all these different teams that have done as well as they've done. San Diego State, of course, the team that got to the national championship, they're 11-6. And, they're sitting there in 5th right now. So I would absolutely just if you had to ask me what combination are we going to get in the Mountain West title game, not a clue. Couldn't tell you, because it could be one of 7 teams in there maybe.
Yeah.
Do you fill out brackets for every tournament?
I used to. I haven't
I did
much
too.
lately, but this is one I
It got too humbling. I saw too many red X's on it.
Yeah. Well, look, what was it last night? The Eastern Kentucky and what was it? All that wildness last night. That gave you a great example of that. But, yeah, I picked the Mountain West. I just think that this has been one of those years where they're going to get a lot of teams in the tournament. Boy, they got a lot of fun teams to watch. So.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Well, Blake, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Blake.
Thank you very much. Blake Lovell with us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, and we really enjoyed that, and that was a great answer. I think we both would agree with that, and I told Dave this morning between the quarter and 50-cent slots and the free buffets, I could injure myself next week. And running with Bruce Marshall, which Bruce is like me, the heaviest thing he drinks is ginger ale.
Well, hey, still, place like that, very easy to find trouble whether you're drinking or not.
Even running straight up with all that basketball in Sin City, you may have to work on operating drip IV the whole time.
Well, and then John Harden tells me a story like, you got.
He's another ginger ale drinker, right?
Absolutely. But he told me a story the other day. There was a man in Las Vegas that woke up scorpion in his bed and stung him where you definitely don't want to be stung. So
John's had that happen to him in Bartlett. No big deal. Come on.
Absolutely. So,
that's a Tuesday night at John's, isn't it?
I mean, what's stinging him? Who knows? But
I was texting with John earlier. I know he's listening. It's Why Weekend Kid.
Yes. John. Yeah, not a better person than John Harden. I mean, not a crazier person either.
The old scorpion in the bed trick, huh?
That's right. Yes. Little scorpion.
There's a lot of jokes there, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna stay away from everyone.
There's a lot of jokes, though, Brett.
Stay away from every one of them, Johnny.
Absolutely.
Johnny is the 7-second delay functional.
Yes. And really, honestly, anytime you talk about John Harden, you got to make sure the 7-second.
Well, the 7-second delay is not supposed to be for us.
No, it's certainly for John. I sometimes gotta keep my hand hovered above the dump button in some conversation.
It's a lot of great action, and
so much.
You made a really good point. Now, as much as I've disparaged the NIT, and I don't think Ole Miss will accept an NIT bid. I don't. Because it's just all changed very much. I don't think the Tigers will or should. There's a case you can kind of make that Ole Miss should, and I can't make a great one.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. I did know it, but it hit home for a lot of teams. That was the soft landing, but it's not now.
No. I mean, because that was the thing is with a lot of these mid-major conferences, you got rewarded if you didn't, weren't able to go and win your conference. You got rewarded with more games in the NIT, and for a lot of the smaller mid-major programs, that's a big deal. And
doesn't the NIT go to Vegas?
Yeah, this year they've been to Vegas. I don't know about this year. It's all a mess now with where they're going.
Well, it is, and in COVID really, when COVID was kind of the death knell for the NIT. Certainly, the New York City aspect of it. Now we still do the preseason NIT, don't we, at the Garden?
Yes, I believe.
Is that independent of? I don't know. I'm asking questions we don't have the answers to.
I was about to say I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, and I don't know that I really ever remember when the NIT was magical.
Yeah.
I remember it certainly better than now. Mm-hmm. And for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's changed.
Al McGuire 1 year at Marquette turned down an NCAA tournament bid and accepted NIT over it. And it was after they had made the transfer to the one that mattered more. The NCAA did.
Champions. How about that?
But he was so mad and he was so crazy that and so independent in the job he was doing at Marquette, he could do that.
Yeah, championship game this year at Hinkle.
That's right. We did. We did know that, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but
Vegas. Why does it pop up?
I think last year was in Vegas.
Was it?
I believe so. But again, with how much it's changed, just get it back to New York and not have to worry about that anymore. That's
Blake Lovell joined us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers. At new location, it's been open. We helped cut the ribbon on it, and we were so proud to be a part of it with Bill Jones and his great team that are here to stay. Some blow in and out overnight, then gone. Not Sissy's Log Cabin. They're part of the community, supporter of Tigers athletics, supporter of the Grizzlies, part of at FedEx Forum, the lounge area, the floor seat lounge, and the official jeweler of both the Grizzlies and the Tigers. Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces and earrings, 9,000 square foot in Laurelwood, with expanded lines for Rolex. Just that Rolex area in the store is something to behold. If that was just a store by itself, it would feel like you're on Park Avenue or Michigan Avenue. But you're in Memphis. You're at Laurelwood, also with Cartier, diamonds, and more. Since 1970, with locations across Mississippi, Arkansas, and Tennessee. They offer a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. We've talked a ton of college basketball. We're going to stay on that same path in our next segment. We'll talk some more college basketball games that happened last night, games on the radar for tonight. We'll also get into a little more bracketology. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is, when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders' team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It remains busy trying to get out of Midtown right now on 240 going southbound. We had what they call police activity down here around Norris. It didn't look like it was much to it, but it was enough to really slow down that traffic approaching Norris there on 240 coming southbound, flowing right out of the Midtown area. Now they're behind a stalled truck on 40 going westbound. Right near Chelsea again there in the Midtown area as that traffic picks up on 240 getting on to 385. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, it was an interesting night in college basketball last night, and a big blowout in the Alabama and Florida game. What I didn't expect was for Florida to hang 100. I thought it was going to be high scoring, but I didn't expect them to win like this. We talked about it with Blake.
I don't trust them. I don't
think you should. I mean, it's hard to trust a team.
They're not near the team they were a year ago.
No.
I said this morning with Dave, except for UConn, I think across college basketball, it's not as good as last year.
Yeah, I could see that.
Purdue's about the same team they were last year.
I might
you think better?
I think better than last year.
Houston?
They're about the same, I think.
Tennessee's better. Arizona, about the same. There's another one I don't trust. North Carolina's better.
North Carolina's better.
Marquette about the same, maybe a little better.
Maybe a little better.
Duke? KU?
KU, I don't trust that. Now that's a team I do not trust at all. Certainly not as good.
That goes through a lot of the Gonzaga, certainly not.
Not as good. No. I mean you're right. It does seem like a lot of teams are down, and but UConn remains consistent and looks like they're just getting better.
Iowa State?
Better.
Okay.
I'd say better. They got a big one tonight at home against BYU. That's a big top 25 matchup. An 8 o'clock tip. So that'll be fun. So
BYU's in the Big 12? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the future. How about that?
I should kind of know that by March, shouldn't I?
Yeah, well, it's hard.
Okay.
I mean, good Lord.
I've heard from every Tennessee friend I have, and they've made my point for me. Every one of them's got a different name for face of Tennessee basketball all the time.
Well, if everyone has a different name, there's
that was the point I was making.
Yeah, there's no clear face of
and Dalton Connect could really connect for a long time with being instrumental in getting them to the 4.
Certainly, with what he has done this year and the impact he made immediately. I mean, look around the country and you'll see a lot of transfers. Maybe at this point of the season, they're playing well, having a good season, but for a lot of guys, it took them a couple of months to get acclimated and kind of get into form. Dalton Connect hit the floor running, and that's why there are a lot of people that are saying you could make an argument for Player of the Year, and he has kind of put himself in that category of maybe making it uncomfortable for Zach Edey.
Could you feel that atmosphere last night at Illinois between Purdue and Illinois?
That game was crazy.
That was great.
It was really good. And I was seeing pictures. I saw videos. I guess I should say. I saw videos from both the Illinois game against Purdue of students lined up around the arena. I also saw the same videos last night before Florida and Alabama. And, we're going to talk to Kevin Sweeney here in a little less than 30 minutes, and it's something he said a couple weeks ago where
I think he was at that game at Illinois last
was he?
night.
Oh, even better. But, he said it a couple weeks ago of you look around college basketball and just kind of the state of the sport when it comes to the atmospheres that these teams are playing in. It's just about as good as it's been in a really, really long time, and you're seeing that, and it's reflecting on how tough it is to go on the road and win, and you saw Purdue do it last night against Illinois in a massive second half for them to come back and get that win.
And last night, I was texting last night with somebody else that was in the building at Illinois and Purdue, and he said on the Jumbotron, not once but twice, Bob Myers,
really?
Golden State, and now ESPN analyst on the Jumbotron chugging brew.
How about that? Wow.
And then Big Brett Bielema stepped out there and led the arena in a beer chugging.
Even better.
Party down last night in Illinois.
Talk about party down. I also saw last night.
But Bob Myers went to UCLA. I mean, what was his? What's his connection to Champaign-Urbana?
That's a great question.
Other than showing up and partying.
How about this? I know this is not college basketball, but kind of related in terms of just like random. Last night for the Cleveland Cavaliers game, they gave away a bobblehead set of Jason and Travis Kelce, obviously with their Cincinnati roots. But I saw that bobblehead on Twitter yesterday, and I was like, I would have never expected that bobblehead for a Cleveland Cavs game, but bobbleheads are cool. I like bobbleheads.
I wouldn't have either, and I didn't know. Of course, every place can't be like Nashville and Memphis. I know that with their contempt, but I didn't know the buddyship with Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, I
wouldn't have kind of suspected it.
Yeah, no.
Or are they just trying to tap into a good bobblehead night and hope Taylor shows?
If we give these bobbleheads out, maybe they'll come and maybe Taylor will be here. I don't know. That was weird. That jumped out to me last night as really, really being weird. But you got me excited, Brett, because I don't like, I never try to look too far ahead in terms of schedules. When we're getting close to the college basketball season, I won't let myself peak at first week games. I do the same kind of dead of summer. I'll try not peak at college football schedules, or I just get too excited. Shame on me. I had not looked at the schedule for tomorrow or the next day, but day basketball back in for these conference tournaments. I am excited. Georgia Southern, South Alabama kicking us off at 11:30 tomorrow.
You and John will be hitting that FanDuel early, won't you?
No, you're absolutely right about that. I'm sure. I know John was one at 11:30, one at 12. 1 at 2. I'm sure John will have
live on the air
all of those games, and yes, we'll be sharing his bets and his thoughts on his bets on air the entire show tomorrow, probably.
And around college basketball, a lot of senior nights, and we know Sunday in Memphis just nailed. And that's hard to do now with the volatility of rosters and loyalties and things. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope I'm bad wrong on this. I think at some places, senior night, okay, maybe not booing, and shouldn't be, but a big yawn and the courtesy golf clap for somebody that made bogey.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's just tough. I mean, you look at the Tigers and the seniors they honor. I mean, first off, 3 seniors were not honored. 1 that returned last year from this Memphis team that did it last year, but 2 that came from different programs that had their senior nights last year at those programs, Wichita State.
All right, I'm already lost a little bit. Could you start over?
Okay, yeah, literally. And then you look at the guys that were honored. Okay, David Jones joined this season. Javon Quinterly joined this season. And then you've got Naquan Tomlin, who didn't even start the season at Memphis. I mean, joined middle of the year.
Was the Christmas present.
Literally. And so I'm with you. I do think that you're going to start seeing senior nights around the country. It is not going to be, I mean, one that will always stick out to me here in Memphis was DJ Steffens when he had his senior day here. And a 4-year guy, place was packed. People had signs, thank you, DJ. And
it was
tear shed. It was a special moment.
It was.
There's just not going to be many of that. I saw Armando Baycott had his senior night last year. I mean, it feels like
much
that guy
beloved.
has been in college for 15 years.
Right after Tyler Hansbrough left, he was the post player for North Carolina.
He picked it up right after Hansbrough. That's a great point. You're just not going to see a lot of those in college basketball anymore with how much players are moving.
I think the most emotional Tiger, I'm not trying to stop you. DJ Steffens is really good. But your parents could confirm this as well, Brian. I think the most emotional, well, I guess Larry Finch's was. Yeah. I don't really remember it, though. I remember those years, but I don't remember that night specifically. 3-year starter.
Sure.
But Keith Lee's was something. And 4-year guy that would have been a top 5 pick every year but the year he went into the draft.
Yikes. Wow. Yeah.
Would have been after his freshman year, would have been after he might have been the number 1 pick in their freshman, sophomore year. And wouldn't have dropped much, and then but stayed 4 years, all-time leading scorer, all-time leading rebounder, from West Memphis, basically, from here. Mm-hmm. Left Mempho, as handsome Jimmy Valiant would say, and that was something I remember. It didn't coincide with coming home for spring break. It was about a week before, and I wanted to, didn't. But remember, following the coverage of it, and very special player. It's different than that at a lot of places. Yeah. I hope it's not like that tonight, but at Arkansas tonight, I mean, just how big a send-off are they really ready to give the departing senior? Some of it is good riddance, don't let the door hit you.
Well, and Brett, that might get even more of a louder cheer. Is okay, finally, last time we have to see you in this building, and let's give a standing ovation because we're tired of this. But it's just, it's not the same, and it's gonna change more and more as these years keep going by.
A good friend text. This was good. Donnell Mack kissing the Tiger logo in midcourt.
Oh,
that was really good.
That's a great one. I was young then.
And the Tigers have they nail tribute and ceremony really well. Last year at this time honoring 50 years ago in the 73 team. I just love going to all that.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean they. As long as I've been paying attention, and certainly it has not been long, it's always nailed. I mean, they do a fantastic job. So.
It is, and it means a lot to those players that have put in a lot of hard work, and it means a lot to those players' families.
No, I love senior nights, no matter the sport, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, any sport. I mean, it's just such a special moment, like you said, for those guys, for their families, and all the work, even if they are here for just 1 year, all the work that they put in that year. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM. And 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There's something that binds us all. The constant hunger to improve, the obsession with every detail, and the reward of a custom fitting taking your game to a whole new level. We're all bound by 2 words said by golfers worldwide. Schedule your fitting at Edwin Watts Golf Shops. Find your local store at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
If you're a pro and flooring is your game, we'll help you win it. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. You want decor?
Strike.
You want plumbing?
You're out.
LL Flooring has been helping pros knock it out of the park for over 30 years. Visit one of our 400 nationwide warehouses for one-on-one service, extensive inventory, and exclusive pro pricing. Get the pro treatment you deserve. Enroll today, online or in-store. LL Flooring, every step covered.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Oh man, I have a good big number today. At least I think so. My number is...
Well, let Johnny be the judge of that.
I'll let...
Thank you, Brett.
I will let
And I'm reminded Keith Lee Senior Day was a win over U of L at the Coliseum.
Oh, wow.
That adds about 10 times to it.
Brett, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about a win over Louisville, that's up there for sure. My big number today is the number 4.
Really?
That's correct. Last night, it was a massive fourth quarter for Dean Wade from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last night...
D-Wade.
D-Wade, that's right, but not that D-Wade. Last night, D-Wade scored 20-plus points, shot 100% from the field, outscored the entire opposing team. They played the Celtics last night, and led his team back from a 20-plus point deficit to a win. Johnny, well, quiz for you.
Yeah.
Who was the last NBA player to do all of that in the fourth quarter? I'll give it to you again. Scored 20 or more points, shot 100% from the field, outscored the entire opposing team, and led their team back from a 20 or more point deficit in the fourth quarter. Who's the last person to do it?
Dwayne Wade.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
That's a great guess.
That would be great.
Is that a guess, Johnny, or is that a fact?
That's a guess, man.
It is incorrect. The last person to do it was the late, great Kobe Bryant on December 6th, 2002. I was 2 years old at the time. In the fourth quarter of that game, Kobe Bryant scored 21 points on 8 for 8 shooting, outscoring the Mavs 21-15 by himself, and helped the Lakers overcome a 27-point deficit to win 105-103.
Great number.
That's really good stuff. My big number is 29. Coach Penny Hardaway trying to get the Tigers in their 29th NCAA tournament all time. 28 previous appearances. He's been a part of four of those 28, playing in 2 of them, going 3-2 and advancing to an Elite 8 in 1992. And 2 as a head coach, 1 and 2 as a head coach. So that's 4 up, 4 down. So you could almost say my big number was kind of 4, but it was 29 for the Tigers trying to get to that NCAA tournament for the 29th time.
That's crazy. Hopefully
crazy big number.
They can do it. I mentioned it earlier. Tonight is a pretty big night for the Tigers in terms of what kind of these next couple days mean. What the
Who are we rooting against tonight?
How's
it play out? Tigers right now with a 72 in the net. That's third in the AAC. SMU at 50 at 2. At number 2, FAU number 1 at 37. USF it's climbed all the way to 75, but I still don't think much of their profile.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be tough for them. I think most people are cheering for – I'm cheering for FAU tonight. I want them
I am too.
rolling when they meet the Tigers.
I want the open Saturday morning on CBS at 11. Do we know the announce crew? By any chance, is that Iron Eagle and Raftery?
It's a good question.
That's the A-team.
I'm not sure. I'll have to look.
That's the national championship announced team. Now, I love Iron Eagle. He'll step in. And we're going to miss Jim Nance, but we get him at Augusta.
Sure.
We get him on Sunday. But that would be fun. But I want that announced crew open. The stakes are huge today for both teams.
Yep.
You don't want FAU kind of limping in after a loss.
No, absolutely not. I think most people would tell you they're rooting against Charlotte tonight to try to get further up into the seedings. And then I don't know how much. I guess rooting against SMU. I don't know how much SMU matters. But
what's the national root against?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I don't know. Do you have any?
Because really, this is a big bracket for me.
It really is. That's a really good question. I have no idea.
I don't know that it's anybody in the top 25. It's not Utah State. They're in.
Yeah.
It's not the loser, BYU, Iowa State. They're in.
Man, I don't know. I think a lot of people would say one of Villanova or Seton Hall, but I think that's kind of a you win and you're in. And I think whoever loses, I think would still be slotted ahead of the Tigers.
Do you agree with what I said earlier about St. John's? If they beat Georgetown Saturday, they're in.
I think they're
regardless what they do at the Garden.
I think so. I would like to think so, but when it comes to the selection committee, they've surprised me before for sure. Maybe
TCU
really
tonight at West Virginia.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Where are they? Where's TCU? I'm trying to get to TCU's net. I bet it's 40.
Okay, so maybe. I don't know.
Tiger profile is just.
Yeah. I mean, it's
not sporty.
No, it's really not. So, and not a ton of the teams in front of them. The Cards
here's something remarkable. In the AAC, you've got East Carolina at 186, Tulsa 197, Temple 214, Rice 237, and UTSA at 259. That means 5 teams are closer to last than to first.
Wow. That's crazy. That could have been your big number, Brett. Good.
I didn't know how to configure it.
Well, I mean,
it was gonna be, and I didn't know how to make it work. So I I didn't go complete low-hanging fruit. 29 is
No,
a big
that's-
number, and it
that's
would be
certainly a big number.
something very special.
No, absolutely. Two
Three
really
straight.
good. I'll add that as your big number. Two big numbers from you.
I didn't know how to make. I guess I could have gone 5. I didn't know how to make it all work.
Well, I like all those numbers. I like my number. I like your number. Good numbers today for big number of the day. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of this hour. And when we come back, we're going to talk more college basketball with Kevin Sweeney.
I wish you could see the beautiful azaleas and dogwoods in bloom. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. I can't tell you how many times clients in November have told me that the flowers are truly breathtaking and the pool sparkles, but in November it won't. But I say rush the season. Take photos in March, April when the azaleas are in full bloom, and take pictures of the pool when it's open. And maybe show some kids in the pool playing. So when you sell your home in the winter months, people don't have to use their imagination. They can see the beauty of your home as you see it. And when you're taking your pictures and thinking of selling at some point in the future, remember what people often say. When you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. At Shell Done Rosengarten, the worst golfer in town, at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Okay, so there are some rules about what someone can and cannot say on a commercial. For one thing, you have to tell the truth, something not everyone necessarily follows to the letter. And there are a couple of phrases we're absolutely not supposed to say. For example, this is March, and this is an ad for Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect bar. As you know, while Bell Tavern isn't a sports bar, there are always sports playing on the TVs. And in March, there is one particular basketball event that Memphians really love. But I can't say the name of it. I can say Madness, and I can say March, but I can't say, well, you get the idea. Anyway, if you want to enjoy the third month of the year craziness, Bell Tavern's the place.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir, it's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Now we got a crash here in the Midtown area on 240 southbound right at South Parkway. Here we go again. It was moving down through there a little bit better a few minutes ago. Now it's slow again on 240 going southbound at South Parkway. On this accident, they've got it over to the side, but it's just one of those situations that's wrong place, wrong time with all that traffic again trying to filter out of Midtown. Down 240 south is really slow there at South Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk some college basketball. Kevin Sweeney joins us on our Sissy's Log Cabin phone line. Follow him on Twitter at CBB_Central. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. A lot of hoops to get into as we're getting closer and closer to a lot of these big-time conference tournaments. But what'd you make of that game last night? Purdue and Illinois. Purdue comes back and gets the win. And what would you tell somebody kind of going into March? What is the difference with this Purdue team from last year's Purdue team?
Yeah, I mean, I was down in Champaign for that game, and it was as impressive a performance as I have seen from this Purdue team, and really from almost any team in the country this season, because that was an incredible atmosphere that they walked into. Took a ton of heat from the fans all night, took a punch early from Illinois, and just battled and found a way to win. Braden Smith, their point guard, who I think is the key to their March success, was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he hit two huge threes late in the game to win him the game, but even before that, setting up teammates, getting Zach Edey involved, and then Edey was Edey. I mean, he had maybe the best game I've seen him play in his career, which I know is lofty praise for a guy that won National Player of the Year last year, but his overall impact was just immense in that game. His ability to protect the rim, his ability to dominate the block. Even defensively, I thought what he did in space. I mean, I thought he did a phenomenal job of guarding Illinois, who plays 5 out and uses maybe a non-traditional center in Coleman Hawkins. It was as good a performance I've seen all year from him.
That atmosphere, you could feel it. In those two atmospheres, whether it's at Mackey or at Champaign, at Assembly Hall, you can really feel those fans' love for that sport. Which of the two fan bases you think's the hungriest to finally win it all? They both have been to a Final Four, but neither have ever won it all.
Man, that's a tough question. I would say Purdue, just because of the recent heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
I think, especially this year, right? Like, if it doesn't happen now, you start to wonder when it ever will. And so, obviously, I'm rooting for Purdue. Like, I'll be very transparent. Like, I hope that this is the year that they break through. I hope that this is the time that they finally get to prove that they can do it in March. Because, one, the fan base deserves it. Number 2, I think Matt Painter deserves it. And 3, I mean, Zach Edey's an awesome player to cover. Like, I understand that people think he's, you don't have to like the way that he plays, or you may be guard friendly. You might want to see more 3-point shots. You might want to whatever. I don't care. Like, Zach Edey, to me, like what he has done, like his story of grinding from no star recruit to best player in college basketball is pretty awesome, and he's someone I'll always root for.
Yeah. Absolutely. Another big game from last night, Alabama on the road against Florida. Florida gets the win at home, 105-87. This is the second time now in recent weeks that Alabama has given up 100 or more points. What do you do with this Alabama team going into March? I mean, offensively, one of the best teams in the country. Number 1 on KenPom. Their net's real high. KenPom has them really high. But defensively, outside the top 100, and you look, I mean, a couple 100 points, and then giving up in the high 90s to other opponents in the SEC. What do you make of this Alabama team going into March?
Yeah, look, at some point you have to be able to buckle down and get stopped.
Yeah.
And they just haven't done that at a high enough level. Look, I think Florida's a really good team. Like, to me, Florida is one of the more dangerous 5, 6, 7 type seeds you'll see, because they have great size, they play fast, they have a veteran guard in Zion Poland who's been just terrific for them this season. But at some point, like, if you're Alabama, you got to win some of these up games, right? It's great to say, we scored 100 against this team, and we ran it up, and scored 90, and our numbers are this and our numbers are that. Like, they got to break through here, and they haven't yet. And I think you start to wonder at this point, like, is this team capable of doing that? When you can't get stops, it's just really hard. So, look, I still think Nate Oates has done a really good job with this group, because the amount that they lost in the offseason, and dealing with staff turnover. I mean, it is impressive that they are in the position that they are in to compete. That being said, I just think that they're going to leave us wanting more often than not as we come down the stretch here.
Kevin, is there any team out there, kind of the UVA model of 2019, Tony Bennett? Can somebody win it locking you down for 6 games, or at some point you got to do something on offense. You can't just do it guarding people.
Well, I think college basketball is in a different place offensively. I think teams are more dynamic. There's more skill on the floor. Teams have embraced, just different stylistic things to change how we play than where things were, several years ago. I will say this, I think Houston, if there's a team that could do it, it's them. I think Houston is capable of winning games with their defense, but that's because they turn you over, right? Houston's going to generate offense from its defense, whereas Virginia, I think they generated momentum from their defense, but at the end of the day, that was a team that, needed to get stops trip after trip to hang in the game because their offense had to be, lifted along to the finish line. Whereas I do think with Houston, they're going to get easy stuff just by defending. And I thought over the weekend against Oklahoma was a good example of them doing what they needed to do to get to get timely baskets in a game they didn't defend well. Gave up 85 points to Oklahoma, found a way to win.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on that. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about Wake Forest after the big win against Duke. It looked like they were rolling at the right time and going to be a team that could get in off the bubble. Since then, 3 straight losses. What has gone wrong for them after that big win over Duke?
I mean, everything, right? I mean, it's been a comedy of errors. Look, yeah. I think this team's inability to win away from home has been the Achilles heel all year, and you hope that a win like the Duke win can propel you to play your best basketball. And I just think they took a lot of wind out of their sails by losing to Notre Dame and losing to Virginia Tech when they had leads in both of those games, and then to turn around and lay an egg against Georgia Tech. And that's the dagger, right? That's the game that will eventually keep them out of the NCAA tournament. Look, I think Steve Forbes has done a really good job. I think it's one of the hardest jobs in the ACC. I think he's an elite evaluator of talent. Does a great job in the portal, but at some point you got to break through. And if this group's not going to make the NCAA tournament, it's going to be, I think, 4 years now. And at some point, he's got to find a way to get over the hump, and hasn't yet.
Yeah.
And under that banner of, if you can't do it now, when are you going to do it, in reference to Edey and Purdue? If you didn't win it with Chris Paul and you didn't win it with Tim Duncan, when in the heck are you going to win it?
Yeah. No question. And look, I mean, it's a different job. It's a different job now than it was then. But look, I think, they've had really good players. I mean, they had Jake LaRavia wound up being a first-round pick, obviously, and wound up in Memphis.
We know.
This year
I kid, Kevin. I kid.
So, look, they've done a great job with player, identifying high-level dudes and turning them into high-level college players. They just have to win 1 or 2 more games in these seasons. They seem to be right around the bubble every year and never quite get over the hump.
Let's go back to Assembly Hall last night, and I fully understand Brett Bielema on the Jumbotron chugging brew. What was Bob Myers doing there?
I mean, it was a wild scene. Everyone was there. Everyone was drunk. It was a nutso atmosphere. I'll tell you that.
I love that. That's great. I mean, that's what college basketball is all about, Kevin. I mean, you get everybody in there drunk and rowdy and let's play some ball. One team that I have really been in on lately has been this Baylor team. They go out Monday night, get a comeback win over Texas over the weekend. They got a big win at home against Kansas. What do you like about Scott Drew's team this year? What do you think some of their weaknesses are going in to March Madness?
So they've really struggled on the defensive end this season, but I think they've shown some real grit here in the last couple of weeks, whether it's, rallying from down big against Houston to, grinding out a, 62-54 game against TCU, then, rallying after trailing big early against Texas. I just think they've done a great job of showing that, when you need to buckle down and get stops, you can, right? And I think that's something that Miami last year was a good example of. Yes, that team was not very good defensively for the majority of the season. But in the NCAA tournament, they had dudes who could create offense for themselves, and they had a defense that was physical and tough and stood up when it needed to. And I think that Baylor might be that type of team. Obviously, those freshmen with Walter and Misi are continuing to emerge. And they have good point guard play, Ray J. Dennis. So I'm starting to buy Baylor. I think, obviously, you're concerned with any team that has a defense outside the top 50 on Ken Palm for the NCAA tournament, but they're 74th right now, so improvement needed there. But I think they're starting to show signs that maybe they've started to break through.
Kevin, there was a time that on coaching changes, kind of everybody waited till the Final Four for a lot of reasons. Coaches convention going on, ADs were there, and a lot of coaching changes occurred there. I don't think this year for some of the bigger jobs that it will wait that long for a couple reasons. The portal, you got to move fast in going out and trying to start constructing a roster for next year, and a lot of these openings. These teams aren't going to the tournament. If you buy the Cronin to Ohio State, Musselman to Arkansas, maybe Beard from Ole Miss, Musselman from Arkansas to UCLA, maybe Beard from Ole Miss to Arkansas, none of those schools are going to be in the NCAA tournament mix, are they?
No, look, I think it's actually kind of fascinating that almost all the big names who seem willing to move jobs, all the sitting high major coaches are having relative down years. I mean, you mentioned Muss. Obviously, it sounds like Ole Miss will miss the tournament. I'd even add like Jerome Tang, who I think is in the mix at Louisville, could be in the mix at a couple of other places, right? Like Jerome Tang.
That's a good one.
Jerome Tang's probably going to miss the tournament at Kansas State. So, there's no reason to wait. The Zoom call obviously has changed things. The just everyone having agents, I think, changes things. I mean, there's so much work going on behind the scenes right now from a carousel perspective, and that it tends to be that ducks are in a row by the time you make that firing decision. You make that announcement, and then very quickly you get on the phone with people in the first couple of days after the search, and try to make a hire within a week to go build a roster.
Yeah. Talking to Kevin Sweeney, joins us every single week to talk college basketball. Give him a follow on Twitter at CBB_Central. It was a wild day here in Memphis on Sunday when the Tigers hosted UAB. Have you ever seen a game like that? UAB puts up 61 in the first half. Tigers are trailing by 15, and then they come out in the second half and respond with 60 points of their own. And really, to start the second half, I mean, just like that, they were back in it from trailing by 15 points. Have you ever seen a game like that? And what do you think about a team like Memphis going into the final week?
Yeah, just when you think you've seen everything you can from this Memphis team, they find ways to surprise you yet again, right? I mean, it's not, and you started to kind of expect the unexpected. Look, that was an impressive performance in the second half. I think it showed a level of dominance that we didn't even see in the non-conference, right? Even when they were winning big games, it felt like they played with their food a lot, and that was part of the reason the metrics weren't as good as everyone wanted them to be. So I think seeing that edge was impressive. Obviously, Naquan Tomlin's playing really well. That's something I think is a great sign for them moving forward. I think the one thing I would worry about is, they've really shrunk their rotation down, and to win 3 or 4 games in a row in the American Conference tournament will be challenging with, tired legs and whatnot. But I don't think anyone's going to want to see them because they're, certainly talented enough to be an NCAA tournament team and more. We'll see if they can beat FAU and at least make the bubble thing interesting. But if they can't, I wouldn't doubt them in the AAC tournament, even if those tired legs could be an issue.
St. John's, in or out?
In today, obviously more work to do. Can't lose this weekend. I believe they have Georgetown, but they've trended up. And at a time when a lot of bubble teams are playing themselves out, Wake Forest, on the team you mentioned earlier, certainly among those, they've taken care of business, and all of a sudden it puts them back in good standing.
Do you buy or dismiss my TV show theory that when they release the brackets, they're releasing a TV show, and Rick Pitino and Penny Hardaway, they're good TV?
I don't necessarily disagree with it. I will say this. How about a first 4 game between Rick and Richard in Dayton, New Mexico versus St. John?
That's really good TV.
It's very realistic.
That's really good TV. Sean McManus didn't think of that at CBS.
No, not at all. Kevin, you bring up New Mexico. Last night, a big game in the Mountain West, and UNLV upsets San Diego State. when you look at this conference tournament, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to have their eyes on it. How many teams do you think could get in from the Mountain West at this point? And then when you look at a team like UNLV that's really clicking right now, that big win last night, basically home court advantage for them in the conference tournament, what do you expect to happen in this tournament?
I mean, chaos. I mean, everybody fighting for NCAA tournament placement or seeding. I do think that 5 teams are in great position. So that's Boise State, Nevada, San Diego State, Utah State, and Colorado State. New Mexico right on the bubble. And then UNLV is playing themselves at least into the fringes of the bubble conversation. They have 2 just ghastly losses at home to Southern University and at home to Air Force by 32, which is like an insane result to look back on. But they've won 10 of 11 since that Air Force game.
Crazy.
Including last night. They're the most dangerous team in the league, and they play the conference tournament on their home court. So wouldn't surprise anyone if they won the Mountain West tournament and got that auto bid. So I guess 7 bids is not completely out of the question at the moment.
Didn't Southern beat Mississippi State as well?
They did. They have 2 elite wins for a team that is up there but not leading the SWAC.
Yeah, but a winning record, and always play a brutal non-conference, and almost have to for budget purposes. But in the SWAC, they're not at the top, but they still could win that tournament. Where are you en route to?
I'm off to Marquette, UConn tonight.
How about that?
Really good. Wow, what a back-to-back night!
I was about to say, great 2 nights.
What's the game you've been to this year when you just pinch yourself? I'm lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to be doing what I'm doing, and a lot of people should be doing this with me. What's the game?
Man, I've had a bunch of them. It's crazy how that sounds. I will say that I think last night was the best atmosphere I've been in all year.
It looked it.
Yeah.
Going to Cameron Indoor was great. I think that one is always a kind of a pinch me moment. But I would say last night's environment, Purdue, Illinois, was as good as it's been all year. And I think tonight.
Yeah. Another game tonight that I know a lot of people, kind of bubble watchers, are going to have their eyes on. Villanova and Seton Hall actually tips off in just about 15 minutes. Is this kind of a win, and you feel pretty good about your chances at the tournament? I mean, what do you see when you look at both these teams? I think we lost Kevin.
We may have en route.
Yeah, Johnny, if you want to call him and
Johnny, call him back and tell him thank you. We're close to the end anyway, but tell him thank you very much for being with us. And he is en route. He told me he would be traveling today, and that it happens. I was going to ask him this though. We'll get to it next week because we got some time before the committee. But Johnny, just tell him thanks, and we'll catch up next week. Definitely. I wonder what the toughest thing the committee will be tasked with next week when they gather. Start going over profiles and resumes and all the stuff. What do you think would be the hardest part about it to separate it? Almost thankless task.
I mean, it is so hard, and it feels like any person you ask, obviously I think when we talk to Shelby Mass, those people in that position seem to have a pretty good handle on what they're looking at and what they're kind of going over. But you just turn on ESPN, you turn on a game on Fox, a game on CBS Sports, and it seems like all of these analysts are saying something different. Oh, this is the first thing they're going to look at. They're going to look at net when they go into that room. They're going to look at quad wins when they go in that room. They're going to look at KenPom. They're going to look at head-to-heads. They're going to look at conferences. I don't know what they're going to look at first. I don't know what is kind of that.
Here's one, because when we talk about the TV show, and it makes a lot of money because of the rights fees, but they like selling tickets too.
Yeah.
The pod, where to put people.
Got to.
Where do you send Tennessee to Charlotte? Or do you send them to Memphis? Today, Jerry Palm's bracket today, for Memphis, he has Colorado State against Mississippi State. Okay. I think it'd be fun to have the Bullies in town.
Absolutely.
Baylor and Colgate. Scott Drew finally gets to Memphis, huh?
Oh, how about that?
No, I won't leave that alone. Gonzaga against Michigan State, and Houston as the 1 seed against Little Rock, UALR, Darrell Walker's team. And that would be interesting for Darrell Walker, who played at Arkansas, having to go up against Phi Slamma Jamma again, because he saw him 2 times a year at Arkansas. Brian, one time I was at a Razorback practice, like the the Wednesday and Thursday practice before the Saturday or maybe Sunday game against Houston, it was still really serious time. And he's walking the ball up the court against the 5 on the floor, simulating being Houston, right?
Yeah.
And they've got on different practice jerseys, to differentiate between the two. And he's dribbling up the court, and he was this kind of character. He stopped, just held the ball, and looked at Coach Sutton. He goes, "Those 5 guys don't even resemble 5 Slamma Jamma." How would you like to be one of those guys getting that shot? Jimmy Dykes was the point guard, kind of acting like he was Alvin Franklin. He kind of like, man, I know I'm terrible, but you don't have to call me out like that.
That is hilarious.
You don't even resemble 5 Slamma Jamma.
Oh man, that's hilarious. I had a similar, obviously much less experience like that. I had a buddy, one of my best friends, when we played football in high school. We were going up against Germantown. They had this kid, Jalen Williams, on their team. Ended up going and playing at Indiana, quick as lightning. And we had to do scout team, and so they brought my buddy, who's one of our starting receivers, said, just you're fast. We're gonna say that you're him. And so after the game, we got blown out. I don't even remember what the final score was. And the cornerback who was covering him all night came over to my friend and said, "You did not do a good job in scout team this week because you're nowhere near as fast.
You're
as
not
he
close."
And
that's the thanklessness of the scout. I mean, that's tough. I'll tell you what's tough in the football world. I bet it is in the basketball world. The GA or the analyst that puts together all the, Johnny, you know this, all the offense, the cue cards, everything, the alignment for the scout team. That's hard.
No, that's extremely hard, man. That takes a lot of time. Sometimes they hardly even leave the facility because they doing all that.
Live there, and just imagine having to be the scout team guy that you're simulating being Cam Newton.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, what do I get this week?
Hey, man.
Cam Newton.
Them scout practices don't be looking the same, man. They look completely different.
Well, like in that case, Darrell Walker, I mean, Hakeem Olajuwon. Yeah, sure. I can really give you a good look at him.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's a great story. I want to go back to that, what Jerry Palm has this week, because the idea of being able to go see Mark Few versus Tom Izzo in a first game would be unbelievable.
I want to say, I don't know that they played against each other, but I want to say both Gonzaga and Michigan State were here for opening rounds in 2001 at the Pyramid.
Yeah, oh wow.
I don't know that they met each other, though.
Interesting. That would be such a fun game.
And Mark Few was really not Mark Few then.
Right, exactly.
Well, he was.
But
he's always been.
Yes.
But his coaching, profile and persona, and really great. It lacks one thing.
Oh yeah, man. It's that title, and I mean that'd be unbelievable to see those two coaches on the sidelines. Certainly, seeing Scott Drew would be a lot of fun. I think that Colorado State Mississippi State game would be a good game, but. Whew, seeing two guys like that would be, that's enough that I would be screaming for everyone. You got to get down to that. I don't care what you're doing on that date.
I want to see what Shelby has Shelby Mass has for Memphis. He has Baylor against Charleston. Charleston has been here at the Pyramid at NCAA tournament games. Clemson, they were just here in December. Clemson against the winner of St. John's, Iowa. I don't ever remember Iowa playing
I'd like Iowa here.
In Memphis anywhere and anything. If it is, it's a long time ago. The other Memphis 4, Houston and South Dakota.
Okay, I like that.
Boise State and Oklahoma. Oklahoma's been here a lot. Oklahoma came here for a regional 2009 with Blake Griffin.
Oh, wow.
At FedEx Forum.
How about that? No, I think.
And they were here early rounds at the Pyramid one year.
Wow.
Oh, they played. It might have been against College of Charleston. They played in a game. And they had a tough, hard-nosed guard that took a hit kind of to the fat of your arm, muscle area.
Sure.
The bottom side, though.
Right.
We're kind of, when you're my age, it really droops down. and he took a hard hit and was really writhing in pain. Came out. What was that kid's? Man, he was tough. came out of the game and was really hurting bad. You could just tell was in a lot of pain. Anyway, I think they get back home and realized the player he ran into's tooth was still in his arm and infected his arm.
What?
Yes. Dang this injury, and man, they had to extract the tooth out of the arm.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
that's hurting
insane.
there.
No, that's yeah, you're tough. You go through that. Yeah, you're tough.
Well, God, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Toughly played game. I think College of Charleston. I may be getting the years confused, but I think they were in that mix.
Wow, interesting. Well, I'm excited about the idea, the possibilities of the teams that we could get here for the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
If you've tried to buy a Rolex watch lately, you know how difficult it is. New models are in rare supply. Some jewelers put you on wait lists. Others make you buy their other jewelry at inflated prices just to be considered for a Rolex purchase. Well, that's all changed now that Genesis Diamonds has arrived. Genesis Diamonds is the premier dealer of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. People who come in are shocked to see Daytonas, Hulks, Submariners, Pepsis, Datejusts, all the hard-to-find Rolex watches ready to wear today. At Genesis, we've used our worldwide connections to find only the first luxury pre-owned Rolexes, immaculate, pristine watches, fairly priced with no strings attached, and with flexible financing options. So enough with the wait list and the retail jeweler games. Get the Rolex of your dreams today at Genesis Diamonds. And if you already have a Rolex and are interested in trading up, we also have Rolex buyers on site every day. Just another example of how we're forever changing the jewelry landscape here. Genesis Diamonds, official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans at Poplar & Perkins Extended.
According to FBI crime data, most home break-ins happen in broad daylight. As the days get longer this spring, protect your home with SimpliSafe. It's the award-winning home security I use and recommend. SimpliSafe's advanced technology protects every room, window, and door of your home. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafecolin.com. simplysafecolin.com. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Oh, I wish I could get this stupid jar open.
Jars can be tough, am I right?
Who are you? And how'd you get in my kitchen?
It's me, Flo, and I'm here to grant your wish of easily switching to Progressive and helping you get a discount that honors the time spent with your previous insurer.
Great, but what does that have to do with getting this jar open?
Nothing.
So you can't open this?
Oh, I just do insurance. Jars, I leave to the professionals.
Sign up for Progressive and opt into more savings. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good afternoon. I'm staring at this crash over here involving several vehicles on 40 westbound, right here at this 240 flyover. This is usually where they crash in the morning times. Again, it's 40 westbound on that flyover here on the 240, like you're trying to get over to Sam Cooper. It's pretty busy now trying to get out of Midtown. It's been crazy today trying to get down through there on 240 southbound. You name it, we've seen it on 240 south from South Parkway down to Norris. Give yourself extra time out of Midtown. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging, online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in, Sports Time. 30 minutes left in today's show, and I am sitting here nervously because I was told during the break that y'all two are disappointed in me for some reason.
Not mad.
Just disappointed.
Very disappointed.
But I have no idea why. I have no idea why. And Johnny's sitting in there going, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I don't know if it's ashamed. It's just disappointed.
You're going to find out. I was like, what was it? What'd I do? He was like, you'll find out.
I think you need tissues handy.
Well, I got them right here. I'll have them ready.
You mean you tried to sway the judge on big number before you ever threw the number out?
He did. I like it. Hey, Brett, tell him he did.
How'd I do that?
I think mine's great. It's for Johnny to decide.
Yeah. That's you see that. You
Brett,
see what he do.
All it is self-love. I'm just
it's promotion, man. It's radio stick, right?
I'm my own biggest fan, and so
I
gotta promote all of us.
He tried to sway me, did it, Brett?
He did.
He tried to sway me.
I just think wholly inappropriate. I just do.
Well, I mean, okay. All I can promise to both of y'all.
I didn't know we were going to play like that.
I didn't know we were going to play like that either. I'm like, whoa, I'm shocked.
All I can promise is I'll try to be better tomorrow.
I was telling a friend of mine the other day about a trip one time, bus trip involved, which you know how that goes. Yeah. And we rode from Fayetteville to Tulsa. Ooh. And when we got to Tulsa, the bus driver said, y'all are on your own getting back. There's no way I'm messing with y'all again. We're like, what? What did we do? Couldn't be us. It was 100% us.
That is hilarious. That's great. Well, you never know. When you're in the wrong, most of the time you never know.
What is he mad about? I mean, I don't know why he's so mad.
What's wrong with this guy?
Yeah. Doesn't he like to have fun?
The whole time you're just terrible on the bus.
Yeah, awful.
Oh, man.
Airplane. Fly from Tulsa to Austin, same thing. When he landed, he goes, y'all get back the best way you can. Well, man, what's the deal with everybody today?
2 up, 2 down, I guess. Good Lord.
Brian, what do you give the odds of our St. Louis Cardinals? And I say our St. Louis Cardinals, mine, yours,
Johnny's, yeah.
The areas, maybe.
Maybe the country. I don't know.
I'm still weighing my options, Brett.
Weighing your options? Opening
Who do you think you are, Blake Snell?
Literally. And Blake Snell, I mean, with the injury, could be a Cardinal. You never know. But Johnny,
what do you think of? Give me the odds on the Cardinals landing either, neither, or both Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell. What would that do to the fan base?
I mean, I think there'd be excitement around Snell. It sounds like, from what I've been hearing, what's been reported, it sounds like Jordan Montgomery would go to the Oakland Athletics before coming to St. Louis to be a Cardinal again. I mean, it sounds
how did it get so bad?
I have no idea. I mean, I do not know. Maybe he felt slighted because he got traded. I really don't know. But
he got traded because it was dead last team and could get a little something for him, and he wouldn't have to finish the year out in Nowheresville.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened, but it sounds like, the reporting.
He's mad at us.
Yeah, how could he be?
I'm not disappointed in him. I'm mad at him.
Again, just like the bus driver. What's wrong with him?
What's his deal?
Yeah, what's his deal? But I think if I had to say one chance is higher than the other, I'd say it's Blake Snell. But again, it feels like we do this every year. I don't trust this front office to go out and get a guy like Blake Snell.
And the Sonny Gray injury news.
Who saw
that's
that
going to linger till Memorial Day.
Yeah, good Lord. I don't wish injury upon anybody, but track record, with what's been happening lately, do we even see Sonny Gray in a regular season game? Just I don't know what.
All year?
Brett, I'm just saying, with how bad luck's been lately, especially with those darn pitchers. I don't know. Stretch it out. I don't know.
cold night for baseball, cooler night for baseball in Oxford tonight for Ole Miss and Memphis.
Yeah, and that game was supposed to happen last night, but got postponed because of rain. And for both those teams, I think trying to figure things out. Memphis, new coach, and Ole Miss trying to get the ball rolling. They've looked better in their last couple of games, but that'll be a fun one tonight, Swayze. I'm excited.
It was fun visiting with Steve Macy. I'm really excited about another year of the Showboats, and I understand why we're going to that side. Mm-hmm. But is actual construction underway on the west side, the traditional press box side?
I hope so.
The shady side?
It doesn't feel like you can ever get an
answer. The sunshade side.
There you go. Yeah. No. I don't know. I mean, I hope so. I'm curious. What is that? And maybe it'll be a question next time we talk to Steve, because I believe, I know scheduling is going to get a little wonky in the next couple of weeks. But I think we'll talk to him again before the Showboats play at home.
And we're going to start a regular hit with it.
Yeah, but I think we'll talk to him again before the regular season starts, certainly before they're back here for the first game. I'm curious, what does the construction mean for getting in and getting out, parking, and kind of the getting to your seat experience?
We can do issues with parking over there on good days.
Certainly, and getting in and out of the stadium on
except
good
for
days.
Johnny, who gets there first and leaves last.
That is true.
Then you're
be there the whole day.
Man, I mean, that's a lot more to the plate then. But I'm excited about the Showboats. I mean, I really enjoyed going out there last year, and I
didn't want to ask Steve because I didn't want to put him in a spot. Is Todd Haley in witness protection program?
Man,
have we checked on Todd Haley?
I don't know.
I liked him.
I did too. Joined us weekly last year, and I thought really good, really fun. But man, I don't know. It's a really good.
Man, he got out of town, didn't he?
He sure did. No, I don't know where he went.
Should it matter as much as it kind of does to me that the Showboats aren't in the traditional uniforms from in the day, or do I need to move on from that kind of Ohio State look? I've moved on. I mean, I'm not losing sleep over it. But I just would prefer it look like that.
I think
I loved it.
I think it bothers a lot of people. Like I do think there is a lot.
So I'm not the only one.
No. Certainly, a lot of people I've talked to. My father being probably the number one on it. I mean, he hates that they change the colors. And you go out to games, and I think a lot of people. You'll see people in the old school, they got it back when the original Showboats were here. You see people with newer stuff that are just in the Showboats, the OG Showboats
from the
colors. Day. Right. And so I think.
I wonder who kept those rights. I wonder if local did or if the old.
I don't know.
You know who'd be easy to blame it on?
What's that?
Trump!
Oh, yeah. No.
From in the day.
That's a good point. That's a good point with the OG USFL. I don't know. And I don't know what kind of went into that decision with the new colors. But I think a large portion of people here in Memphis would prefer the OG colors rather than what they're doing now.
It's going to be a fun year and open on the road, then home game Saturday, April 6th. That Saturday morning, that's the Saturday morning of the Final Four semifinal day.
Yeah.
We know that first game won't start at the Final Four until 5 our time. Well after the Showboat game is over. So really can plan a fun day.
I was about to say that's a really good day. Showboats game and then Final Four.
Now, Brian, you and Connor, y'all could plan this day.
Oh man,
Showboats 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Golf. At Timber Trust, and then Final Four.
Well, we could. Well, I tell you, Connor. First off, Connor's already been to Timber Trust once this week, I think.
John says they've been the few times they could. They've been really busy.
Yeah,
it's been that window. People are ready to get out.
I think it was this week. My days are running together now, but he certainly went, and he said he saw John and didn't speak to him, but he was out doing something. But he said he saw him and
busiest man alive.
He said it was looking good out there. He's out playing golf again today. I don't know where they're playing today, but he's playing golf again today. And he's already been talking. Look. We need to figure out what time we can tee off, and let's try to get out there early in the morning, get around in, maybe just play 9 before I have to go to class, you have to go to work, and let's get it in this spring. I'm like, cool, let's do it.
Yesterday, when we were visiting on NFL with Bo Marchant, I didn't get to elaborate on this, on the whole Justin Fields or Caleb Williams. I loved Justin Fields coming out of high school to Georgia and then to transferring to Ohio State and then coming into the draft. He was my guy in that draft that year. The Bears are set up that this is no. I think no matter what they do, everybody's going to go, oh, there go the Bears again.
It feels like it. And it's kind of what the Bears have become in recent years. It does not seem like a decision they make really, people are super happy with. And so I think either way they go, I think more of the fan base, I don't know where I think more of the fan base sits. I think Caleb Williams would be very popular in Chicago. But I still think Justin Fields has a lot to offer if he can get in the right system.
And
get
get some
the right
help.
Coaches, get some help. That's very important. And so, I'm excited to see what happens with Justin Fields.
And wherever Justin Fields goes, that place is going to love him.
Oh, absolutely.
And another thing Bo said, and he's got a handle on it. It sounds like the Steelers are really going to go down swinging trying with Kenny Pickett.
Well, it seems like it. And, you put a lot into him, and you draft him really high, and you kind of –
Local guy,
and you kind of said almost immediately – the future is his. We're going to build around him, and now it's not working out for you. And
don't think he's that good.
I really don't either. But when you do that much, when you're that bought into him, it's hard to then kind of revert and say, oh no, let's get rid of him and go a different way. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with I saw a lot of
Brian. I was not proud of myself this morning. I'm not that kind of guy, but I was surfing the internets, the interwebs.
Sure.
And I landed on a very risque site. You know what the name of it is?
Oh, no. Oh, Brett.
The Barking Crow.
Oh!
And no, it's not an adult site.
Oh, Brett, I just left
It sounds like it would be a good name for an adult site.
Honestly, Brett.
I need to stop right there, Johnny.
Oh, man, you funny,
we're
man.
We're a family show, Brett. We're a family show.
We are.
Rated PG.
The Utah region has Ole Miss in the Utah region as the 4 seed. The Utah region, not surprisingly, has Utah in it.
How about that?
Playing UNLV, Ole Miss playing SMU, JMU playing Maryland, Cincinnati playing Loyola, all the way down to the Seton Hall region.
Right.
Shockingly, Seton Hall, the 1 seed in that, playing Syracuse, 4 Oregon hosting Memphis,
right.
Ohio State, the 3 playing Butler. That's kind of a neighborhood game. And 2 Pitt playing St. Bonnie. Kind of a stretch of a neighborhood, big neighborhood up to Buffalo, but kind of.
Yeah, wow. First Barking Crow reference from Brett this season. How about that? I saw that earlier. They updated there. I've been wanting to
So
bring
you were
up-
there too, surfing the interwebs?
Well, Brett,
out there at those risque sites.
As you know, I follow NIT Stu on social
Oh,
media,
dude,
so I see all the NIT bracketology posts. So yeah, I saw that. I hate to say this, but I love the idea of a matchup against Oregon. I also saw they have a likeliest NIT teams, and Memphis sitting in there right now with an 85.4%, just ahead of Ole Miss, who has a 84.4%.
I'd be surprised if either accepted a bid.
Yeah. There's a lot of big name schools in here that I think would be along those same lines of accepting.
I'm trying to look at the teams of who would really be gung-ho to be at the NIT. Not Loyola. They were at the Final Four 6 years ago. App State?
I don't think so.
Richmond?
I don't think so.
Here's one. Yale would be.
Oh, Yale would be ecstatic, sure. Certainly.
Seton Hall, if it was back in New York, yeah.
Sure, but I don't think so. Especially with how they've been playing on the bubble. I mean, I think they have their sights set on getting into the tournament.
Give me the famous Idaho Potato Bowl game in a second over going to an NIT game.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got that right.
I'd buy a box at the Pop-Tart Bowl over going to an NIT game.
Yeah, no, well, and I think that's what I hate about how the NIT has changed is you look up and down this, and it's all teams that are probably...
Well, I guess Butler would be happy to try to get to Hinkle.
Sure, I mean, you get back there, and that would be fun. But, I mean, you look up and down at all these teams, I think you can go through most of these teams and say, well, they were really hoping they'd be in the NCAA tournament. How much are they going to care about the NIT? And, you know, with all the mid-major teams that you would usually have in the NIT, you didn't have that problem. And so
South Florida would be happy to go there.
South Florida would be very happy. I think this year's already been a massive success for that program. You go to the NIT and even make a run in the NIT. I think they could, and that'd be great for them. I would love that. So that's certainly a name to put in there. Well, we need to get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You watch sports. You listen to sports. Now let's talk sports. Are you a huge sports fan with always something to say but only a few listeners? Well, not anymore, because Sports 56 is opening the airwaves overnight. From 12 midnight till 6 a.m. for people like you to talk sports during your own 1-hour radio talk show on Sports After Dark. That means for 1 hour, you can tell us what's really on your mind regarding sports. Your favorite sports team, your favorite player, discuss pre-games, post-games, all games. Let's talk. Orientation is required. Interested applicants must contact the podcast center at gmail.com or call 901-468-3097. That's the podcast center at gmail.com or 901-468-3097. Amateur and professional talk show hosts encouraged to apply.
Required orientation is Saturday, March 9th, or you can take it online.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is, when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park. We got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
The best athletes don't just play the game, they change it. When it comes to investing, Gainbridge is doing the same. Their online platform does things differently because it's designed to put you in charge of growing your own savings. It's intuitive, it's easy, and best of all, it's on your terms. No wonder Gainbridge has earned the trust of 40% repeat customers. It's a better way to invest because it's investing your way. Get started today at Gainbridge.io.
Get your tickets and get loud for your Memphis Grizzlies when they face off against the Atlanta Hawks this Friday at 7 p.m. for Women's Night presented by Nike. Arrive early. The first 5,000 fans in attendance will receive a clear Grizzlies crossbody bag. Get your tickets at Grizzlies.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, USF won again last night, taking their win streak to a national high of 15 games. A win last night over Tulane that they really had to fight early in the first half. They were kind of struggling, able to bounce back and win that game. Looking at kind of the way they've won these 15 games, they've done it in a lot of different ways. You know, here in Memphis, they had to come back from a 20-point deficit to win. Against Charlotte, they had to go come back from a 15-point deficit. 6 of those wins have been by double digits, but 8 of those wins have been by 5 points or less, and I believe 3 or 4 of those games were by 1 or 2 points. So just one basket, the difference of those games. So they're finding ways to win. I think a very promising, successful season for Amir Abdur-Rahim in his first year with USF. And cap all that off with the tweet I just saw from Seth Davis. Not sure people realize what a long shot South Florida is for an at-large if it needs one. Nothing about the Bulls' resume suggests they would get one, and it's not unprecedented that a ranked team to be left out. Utah State did it in 2004. SMU was left out in 2014. A loss in the CUSA tournament would be a bad loss.
It would. What I learned today, Bryant, okay, my recall may not be exact every time, but I was close enough and I found it. March 17th, 2001, NCAA tournament at the Pyramid. Hollis Price for Oklahoma drives to the basket, his upper arm slamming into the teeth of an Indiana State player, knocked all of his teeth out except for the one lodged in his bicep.
That's not a pretty sight, Brett.
It was not College of Charleston. It was Indiana State.
How about that? Indiana State back and better than ever this year.
52 seconds left in the game.
Wow. That's a terrifying
That may be one of the most gruesome injuries ever. But we had the injuries at the Pyramid between Kenyon Martin's injury the year before in 2000 at the, was that Great Midwest or was that Conference USA tournament? Which conference were the Tigers in that year that Martin was hurt in 2000? One or the other.
One or the other.
That's what I learned today. Don't want to see that again.
It could have been what I learned today. Good Lord. I could go right back to the Seth Davis tweet for what I could have done without, seeing as USF hasn't been in the CUSA in many, many years, and it would be the American. Put some respect on the American Conference, Seth Davis. But no, what I could have done without today, Brett, we talked about it earlier. Alabama, when it comes to this idea of them, the net extremely high, KenPom extremely high.
I'm not letting them ruin my bracket.
I don't think you should. I mean, this team obviously can score with anybody. They've shown it at times, but defensively,
I'm going to go the old-fashioned way and let Kansas State or Kentucky ruin my bracket.
Well, that's probably a good idea. I was looking earlier at Joe Lenardi's bracket. He has Alabama as a 4 seed. He would have them facing Appalachian State in the first round in his bracket.
It's quite a contrast in styles.
Sure is, and if I'm Alabama, I would not want to see Appalachian State in the first round.
I could have done without this, going to sports hardcore porn on the interwebs today, going to Barking Crow. Well, that sounds like that is an adult site, isn't it?
Sure
NIT bracketology.
Wow.
Oh, that's sad to go and see.
Well, it is, and Brett, you said you weren't going to go there this year, and here we are.
Peek in. That's what the interwebs do to you.
Well, Brett, in March, that's what happens. You go and March brings.
I never thought it was going to be pertinent to go, germane to go.
Well, and here we are. Tigers with a 85% chance of making what they call the better tournament. So I guess there's that.
Nobody believes that.
Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Evansville, Indiana. Never been to the Hoosier State, so give me the OVC tournament. Southern Indiana against Tennessee State at 6:30, and EIU versus SIUE at 9 o'clock. That's Eastern Illinois, the Panthers, against Southern Illinois Edwardsville, the Cougars.
I like that. That's going to be a really good game. Beam me to a game that has already started. Villanova and Seton Hall. This feels like a win, and you're a lot more comfortable than the other team with both
Play
these
out
teams
game?
I don't know. Maybe.
Play
sure.
in?
I don't know if it's a play in.
Something.
I don't know what it is. It's a bubble game. How about that?
NEC tournament tonight, OVC tournament, Big South all tonight. Bubble teams, Tiger fans need to watch TCU at West Virginia, Northwestern against Michigan State, and Minnesota at home against Indiana.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good night of college basketball. Some marquee games in there, some conference tournament games. We've also got the Grizzlies in action tonight, 6:30 against the 76ers. 2 ESPN NBA games as well tonight. So a really good night of basketball. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades